person will walk backwards to the nearest exit point when in fact there may be some video surveillance available to them. By a process of elimination, identifying potential witnesses, they'll go out and interview those witnesses, and again, they're trying to draw up a profile with respect to all of this information. And then last, which unfortunately is a timing factor which takes the most time. In this type of crime, when we have stabbing and probably people who are trying to defend themselves, there would be DNA left behind by the individual for the stabbing. Those DNA.
One of the most critical things that, you know, if he was bleeding at all and left some blood on either one of the decedents, they call them, or if they, you know, a lot of times under your fingernails, you scratch, or hair, or some other form of DNA, and I mean, his DNA shouldn't be on it at all, right? Because if he's innocent, he wasn't there, well, guess what?
DNA samples will be sent to a laboratory for accelerated testing, and obviously then at some point, as of yesterday, the day before, law enforcement then zero ins on this individual, and then you have, quite frankly, an excellent job by local, state, and federal partners coming together to apprehend this individual.
So just like the Kroger case, you remember that case where he was stalking, you know, that residence, and they had camera footage, and then they did some other things, you know, they got the DNA, and they wanted to get him, and that was just good police work. You know, they got him in Pennsylvania. This is similar, you know, because when you're in the elements, one of the things that they do is they, you know, there's cell towers almost all over the place, and so they see who's kind of estimate the time of death, and say who's pinging off of this tower, you know, and then they run down the list and they can eliminate people pretty quickly. But fuck, I just can't believe that this guy just did this and he looks like he's had a big battle. Even when you're in a small town, there are cameras everywhere, you know, and we've got it into a situation where, you know, remember 1984, Big Brother is watching, Big Brother is fucking watching, and sometimes it helps and sometimes it hurts. And in this case, here's the arrest of this dickhead. Not an overly big fella. Imagine being this hairdresser, you know, knowing after the fact that this is the guy that just murdered a family. He looks like a little kid. I mean, he looks different than he does on his picture. I mean, this is right where he gets arrested. I don't know how they found him. It says Andrew McGann, 28, from Springdale, is suspected of killing 2 people at Devil's Den State Park. Now, the footage was not sent to us as it presented by the authorities. And no resistance from him whatsoever. I mean, imagine having that fucker in your chair. You know, you're the barber, you're the hairstylist.
A few moments later.
Alright, remember when I said imagine what the hairdresser was thinking? Well, here's her interview.
Live from 5 News, this is breaking news.
This afternoon, we're expecting new information from Arkansas State Police as they investigate the deadly attack at Devil's Den State Park.
Yeah, welcome to 5 News Plus. Our team is, of course, all over this right now. There is a news conference that is scheduled for 2 o'clock today at the State Police Headquarters in Little Rock, not in Lowell like it was last night at 9:30, but this time it'll be down in Little Rock. We'll, of course, bring that to you live. This all began last night with a post from a stylist at a salon that thought at the time had taken video or was cutting the hair of the suspect. We went out and visited with her earlier this morning. We're going to hear from her coming up here in just a few minutes and get an insight as to what she was going through last night, especially after She posted that video to her Facebook.
Yes, and of course, police now have confirmed that they did arrest him at that salon.
And here's the news video from the salon where the arrest was made last night. Here's what the stylist had to say after what happened last night.
I want to start off first by saying my condolences to the Brink family. My thoughts and prayers are with you. I couldn't sleep last night thinking about it.
Notice how she's talking about them. She's talking about the victim. She's not talking about herself. And that's a good person right there.
And they'll always be in my heart to imagine those little girls. When I saw him, he looked pretty normal. Something did feel off about him. I noticed I was in the break room heating up my food for lunch, and I noticed a black car pulled up. The doors open, so I would see who would pull up. I came back up here, and I noticed the guy just standing over here. As soon as I saw him, something fell off about him. He looked pretty scary. He didn't look like he was okay. He was very timid. He was always with his head down, long hair covering his face. But I didn't want to speak up yesterday after seeing the photos because anything can change from when those pictures were taken. He looked to be a lot slimmer, but as soon as I saw the pictures, I'm like, that's him. He just looked slimmer. Like I said, he was on the run. He probably didn't eat or, took care of himself.
Well, she's visibly shaken. Defending these kinds of cases is almost impossible. And you really don't have the answer. Who are you going to call as witnesses? Character witnesses? Well, he's not killing people. He's a really great guy. And all you do with these kinds of cases, first of all, this is probably a capital case, that's my guess, because it's in Arkansas, and I believe Arkansas has the death penalty. So that old Sparky or whatever that be. But you have a situation where, as a defense lawyer, what do? You just try to bat away the science. That's the only thing you can do. So what do you do for an opening statement? Keep your eye on the ball. This is a case about circumstances. It's a circumstantial case. And here's the evidence. And we don't think our client, the government, is going to be able to prove their case, and here's why. And then you go to the closing argument. You do all the stuff in between, of course. But then you do the closing argument, and you have to just know that the government in this case collected some DNA, and it was inconclusive, blah, blah, blah. And so you go on and on and on about stuff like that, and just try to pounce on the weaknesses. But in a case like this, so what? You'll try to negotiate this to life without case instead of a death penalty case, if it is. I haven't heard that it was, but I'm sure it is. Let's just kind of get a little background on who Mr. McCann was. You have the first court appearance. What happens at the first court appearance? There's two things. One, they can read the charges to you on the record, or you can waive the reading. Generally, you waive the reading. And then they determine the conditions of release. So that would include bail, and in capital cases, I'm sure they can deny you bail. In Minnesota, they don't have capital cases, but they would probably have a $10 million bail or something, so you could get out.
Top stories. We're learning more about the Devil's Den murder suspect and his reported red flag behaviors. 28-year-old teacher, Andrew McGann.
Teacher. The red flag behaviors. Well, he liked to cut up little animals and throw them at his siblings. That's where it starts.
And made his first court appearance on Friday, and he was held without any bail. This guy's accused of killing married couple Clinton and Kristen Brink. This is them. They were killed while they were hiking with their two daughters at the popular state park in Arkansas.
Think about that. Here you are. If they would have just stayed home that weekend, they'd be alive. But you can't live your life like that, right? You can't second guess them at all. Who would think that somebody's going to do this to them? you know, randomly.
So police caught him while he was getting a haircut. And they say they found his DNA at the crime scene.
We took him into custody, and with that, we, spoke to him, and he made statements indicating that he had committed these heinous acts. And our job didn't stop there. We executed a search warrant on his.
So one of the things that people always want to know is, why did you do this? And there's no right.
You're gay.
They could be crazy, they could be vengeful, it could be prior dispute with the person, or it could just because I wanted to see what it felt like. We did a video a while back where this young guy killed a homeless person because he just wanted to see what it felt like. And then his mom had to call the police on him because he found a head and hands in a bucket in his room. You know, I mean, imagine having to call the cops on your own kid. You heard her talk, the prosecutor talk about, or this representative, I'm not sure who she is, but talk about him giving a statement. You know, one can give a statement, but there's nothing to corroborate it. You can't be convicted on your own word alone. It's got to be corroborated. It's on corpus delicti. So if let's say I shot the president of the United States back in 1963, and I used a pea shooter, and well, I wasn't even born until '66. So if there's nothing corroborated, you can't convict somebody just on their word alone. You don't need much corroboration, but you do need some.
Still waiting a lot of testing at the crime lab. But as the colonel said, DNA that was recovered at the initial crime scene matched his DNA that we pulled last night.
McGann was an elementary school teacher and was supposed to be starting teaching a new 5th grade class.
Look at him. It looks like he's wearing eyeliner kind of. And he's got deep set eyes. And I guess there's a rumor going around the internet that if your ears are below your eyes, it could be a serial killer.
Right here is Richard Allen, who was convicted of killing Abby Williams and Libby Sherman in Albania. And this is Andrew
So do my nuts.
confessed to killing the couple at the Devil's Den State Park in Arkansas. Here we have Ryan Silberger, who recently pled guilty to killing Maddie Logan, Caleb Gonsalves, being a criminal, and the Chapin at the University of Idaho. Here we have Keith Jesperson, who is also known as the Happy Gay Killer. This one may be the most
It's about that time I get was really young. 17, 95, I picked up all the signs. When I picked up the signs, I just spit up all these rhymes.
You could tell how it was similar to the size of their skull.
In Arkansas, how about that? Well, one parent of a student from one of McGann's past schools recalls his odd behavior. Zachary Polyak says that he saw him put a little girl on his lap and say things like, quote, "I wish I could date you. I wish you could be my girlfriend." Just really nasty grooming behavior.
And that guy got a job as a teacher. Hey, why not? You want a color? I mean, what the fuck? I want to date you?
I'm on Mexican radio.
Who the fuck is hiring people these days? It looks okay to me. Like some old young, but...
behavior, according to that parent. And he goes on to say that Mr. McGann was giving a lot of special treatment to the girls in his class in particular. That he was giving them candy, bringing them Sonic drinks, playing tag with them, tickling them. Just really suspect behavior.
The exploitation of children, and maybe he was trying to, slaughter the parents. I mean, it's like sad when you think that you're praising the fact that, the girls didn't have to get sexually assaulted, and that was the benefit or the plus side of things. They still have to see their parents get absolutely slaughtered by this guy. Unbelievable.
So could this indicate a motive? Was he after the 2 young girls? Let's bring in retired Army intelligence officer and the owner of Black Ops Private Investigators, Manuel Gomez. Manuel, good morning.
I think they bring a Black Ops guy in to talk about this because, this is a Black Op, I guess, right?
Morning to you. What do you think here? Could that be the motive, the girls?
Good morning, Julie. Unfortunately, I don't agree with the motive being the girls. And the reason why is because...
it was Cold War.
This incident was too random. He would have went to a park, maybe a school park.
Yeah, Black Ops Cold War.
Surveillance on them. He went to what we call a state park sanctuary, which unfortunately is not one anymore. Okay, and he went there with the intent to commit a murder. I don't believe he went there to look for girls, those little kids, because if he would have, that's not the ideal place to find children. So that's why I lean towards, no, he was going there to commit a murder, and that's what my professional opinion on.
And some, they'll just do it just because they want to kill.
It's not that matter.
We certainly value your professional opinion, Manuel. Yeah, because you think about this, it seems that there was a big planning component to it. Am I right? The backpack, the partial obscuring of the license plate. Interesting when you say it doesn't seem like an abduction was what was planned. It seems more like a homicide. Would you dig a little deeper? What makes you think that he had intention to do a murder or multiple murders all along?
Well, Julie, I have to say, first, I don't even think this is his first one. It was too well planned. He picked the perfect area, very little cell service. Two, an area that was not traveled by many people. He picked a very isolated location. Three, he's been transferred from state to state as a teacher, moving his locations. I will not be shocked, Julie, that during this investigation, if they find that there's other people who have been stabbed similar to this situation.
Seems to me that you don't just, on a one-off, decide to do this. You know, they say that serial killers start with small animals, work their way up, and dissect things. And you remember Jeffrey Dahmer, all the crap that he did, and stuff that they found in his apartment? Oh my God. You know, I've never had a serial killer case in my career, and I hope I never get one.
Because I don't believe this was his first one. And then finally, he taped up his license plate. He was concealing his vehicle so that they were not able to identify it easily. Okay, he went there with the intent to commit murder. I do not believe it was those girls. And I want to say, you know, I thank God for the heroic efforts of that mother for being brave enough to grab her children and bring them to safety. It's unfortunate that her love is what killed her, because she went back to see if her husband was okay.
So when you look at the motivation behind what he's doing, and you look at the planning, the preparation, it's all geared towards murder one. And like I said, he was denied bail because on a murder one, you can be denied bail. You know, when you think about it, it's just a fucking ugly. You know, I mean, you have two beautiful young children who are just there with their parents, trying to enjoy the nature, and they're probably thinking, oh, what a wholesome thing we're doing, let's camp, and then they get attacked by this maniac. No question he's going to have a psychological workup, and that his defense lawyers, if they have their wits about them, will likely assert something. One of the things that belies that whole thing is the interview that he does at the outset. If he takes responsibility for it, I get that, and it kind of talks about how he knew it was wrong. He takes away the interview because later on you say that, it seems like you're making it up. Meaning he didn't know right from wrong, and compelled by some outsiders that never sees the light of day again. So this isn't just our little kind of brief synopsis of the killer that we know as the Devil's Den murder suspect. You know, your heart goes out to a family like this. You know, these kids are just going to be scarred for the rest of their lives. Hopefully there's an aunt, uncle, or sister, brother, or somebody that can swoop these kids out and take excellent care. Because they're going to need some therapy, they're going to need tender loving care, they're going to need a lot of things going forward. So that's our episode for today, ladies and germs. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board-certified criminal defense lawyer. Make sure you subscribe, follow us on Instagram, sign up for Patreon, go to Facebook, and go to clrbrucerivers.com. Click on that because we've got all kinds of new merch, like these little keychains with the hat that says "Stop Self-Snitching." Isn't that cute? Nick's trying to be creative in the little shop that we're developing. And so give Nick some love, because that money that we make from that shop goes directly to Nick, nobody else. And He's broke. I mean, he fucking ruined his car on his way over here. I felt bad for him, but I'm not gonna pay for his car for being stupid on the road. We'll see you next time here on Criminal Lawyer Reacts. Cops do kind of lack some sensitivity training towards people who have dead bodies in their car. I mean, they're generally not sympathetic, and they could have some more training in that area. I'm just saying.
Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. Bruce Rivers, he's the criminal lawyer. And it's gonna react to all the self-snitching.
Hi, this is Bruce Rivers. Welcome to another fun-filled episode of Criminal Lawyer Reacts. I'm Bruce Rivers, your board-certified criminal defense lawyer. And today, this is really an odd one. I haven't seen this, so it's going to be a cold reaction. And it's an EWU. Explore with us, and make sure you give them some love because they're fantastic. But it's going to be a longer one, so I'm going to give you a minute. Go get your white wine and a big bowl of popcorn. Get your blanket and put it on top of you, and just sit back, and we're going to watch this together, okay? But before we do, I am coming to you with my pearl handle pistol cufflinks, so graciously gifted to me by our former content genius, Michael Rivers, my son, God rest his soul. So we are also want to let you know that we're sponsored by AskALawyer.com. Now guess what? I am now their national spokesperson for AskALawyer.com. So you go to their website, this is the face you're going to see. So when I put my face on a product like that, you know it's good because it's the same people that brought you eForms and eSign. And if you need a lawyer, or if you're thinking about a case, God, that guy screwed me over, or my landlord's a dick, or whatever, go to AskALawyer.com. They have live lawyers on staff. You might not think we have a heart, but we have a heart, we have lungs, we have breathing, God-fearing American just like anybody else. Go to AskALawyer.com, and they can either do one of two things. Help you get to the next level, figure out where you're going to go with your case, or dispel the myth that you even have a case. Because guess what? If you think you have a case and you're so righteous, and you've spent all this time and effort, and you really don't have one, you need to know that too, because it can give you peace of mind. You know how many times Grandma goes to AskALawyer.com when she's picking her feet in my basement? I mean, she goes to AskALawyer.com, and they say, no, Grandma, you can't sue your grandson for grand larceny. He's just taking care of your bills. Okay? So, I'm just kidding. Grandma doesn't do that. She does pick her feet, though. Anyway, so go to AskALawyer.com. And if you are doing your own thing and doing your own legal research, they have an AI component. So for $49, you can get all the research for all the 50 states. So why would you AskALawyer.com? Okay, so let's get into this. I haven't seen this, and so the title of this one, and prepare yourselves. Cop discovers bodies in woman's trunk during traffic stop. Rule number one, if you are on the road, you shouldn't be holding dope, holding bodies in your car. Better not to be responsible for the bodies that are in your car. Ugh. Anyway, so let's just see what this is all about.
That don't smell like dirty clothes.
What do you mean? I want something. They're sitting in there for months and months and months and months and months.
You got to open that up all the way. What is that?
Huh?
What is that? No. Open, pull it out. What the? Get the put your hands up!
Okay. Cops have a tough job. I wouldn't give you two plug nickels. Here's the thing. When I go to work, I deal with some of the same stuff, but in a sanitized form. I deal with it with paper, with courtroom, with court reporters, with recordings, and I don't deal with it like this. Cops and firemen, they deal with this and the ambulance drivers, they deal with that blood and guts and all the ugly stuff. But then they have to chase a dickhead like this, and she's a dickhead.
What begins as a routine traffic stop takes a horrifying turn when officers detect a strange, putrid smell coming from the vehicle.
You know, I hate to stop this, because it's going to make it much longer, but I've had cops, say, oh, I was driving down the street and there was another car on the road and I could smell weed. And I thought it was bullshit until the same thing happened to me when I didn't get stopped, but I was following somebody. You could totally smell the weed coming from the car. Imagine how bad the fucking smell in her car has got to be that this cop could smell it from his car.
The search that follows uncovers a secret so disturbing it defies belief, leaving multiple officers visibly shaken, physically ill, and utterly enraged by one of the most vile discoveries ever made.
I need you to calm down. I need you to calm down. No, I need you to focus. Calm down. We need to verify. We don't know what this is. What is this?
The following is based on official police records, and most of the footage has never been seen before until now. In Essex, Maryland, just after 11 p.m. on July 28, 2021, an officer with the Baltimore County Police Department approaches a vehicle for a traffic stop.
How you doing? All right, you got the license registration on you? Well, you know why I pulled you over? You know what the speed limit is?
No.
Okay.
All right, he pulls over for speeding, and it's then that he smells what he smells.
Speed limit 35.
Oh.
And you were doing well over it.
Oh, I'm sorry. I swear I only done it for 40.
The driver, 33-year-old Nicole Michelle Johnson, hands over a state ID. Sitting beside her in the front seat is a friend who she calls BB. The officer heads back to his cruiser to run a registration, but the information doesn't quite check out.
Vehicle requested not failed. Tomorrow file.
Simple. So you don't have a driver license?
No.
Okay. And also, this vehicle is not even registered. Those tags in there are fake tags. This car has to be towed.
So, she's got an illegal car on the road and she's breaking the law. She's speeding. You're gonna get pulled over, and she's black. You're gonna get pulled over. DWB, right? So, probably should have left your children at home.
Yeah, you get everything out of it, but how long did you have the truck?
As the officer returns to his cruiser to issue citations, Nicole and BB exit the vehicle. Nicole walks to the rear and opens the trunk, revealing several volume bags tightly packed inside.
Alright, I'm almost ready.
She just sat in the movie. Oh no, she's gonna. No, they're gonna tow the vehicle anyway. So she's nervous. Here's what happens. You can search the vehicle. Why? How is that? There's no problem with car. It's just a speeding ticket. It's called an inventory search. See, there's certain sections.
Where's my
Vehicle you have less expectation of privacy in a vehicle than you do in your home, for example. But if they impound your vehicle, they can go through your vehicle to see what's in it, and then inventory everything that's in it. So they don't need a warrant.
Ms. Johnson, you come over here. So you got pulled over for the same stuff, huh?
And now I'm looking for... There it is.
Growing up, I always imagined that I'd move to Atlanta and raise my kids there. Beautiful place. You know what I mean?
I've been to Atlanta. I didn't like Atlanta much.
It's a mystical place underwater, yeah.
Atlanta.
Today we're going to be talking about the mystical city of
Atlanta. Welcome to the Two Lake Show Files. Brandon's got a
13 is crazy.
Naked body.
I've been spewing, puking, and I'm feeling really sick, but we're back in it.
You still feel sick?
I feel good.
You just ate candy.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
All I've eaten today is Sour Boys candy, because I love it, and I'm going to drink a Sprite, so I'm in a really good diabetic shape. But yeah, we have a great doctor today, like I said, Atlanta, Georgia, the underwater city, the mystical city.
Yeah.
And, yeah, should I wear it?
Actually,
sure, I don't know what that is.
let me just get up.
It's nice. We're going to Atlanta, I wanted to kind of look the part. Better or worse?
If we're going to Atlanta.
Is that normal in Atlanta?
Yeah.
I would probably take it off your mouth so you can hear you well. I mean, the thing over your mouth, covering your mouth.
Mm.
Yeah, I do that.
So this is good?
Yeah, and I think maybe it's gonna rub against it, and it's gonna sound like shit.
We're rubbing?
I think it's gonna sound like
What if we did it like this?
I think then when you open your mouth, it's gonna sound like shit again.
So I'm kind of messing everything up?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay,
This is small now.
Maybe we'll go like
There you go.
that.
I think that's a workaround.
I'm Sam Sulek, Atlanta.
Atlanta. We're talking about Atlanta today, the lost city of Atlanta, and that's it.
I'll be prefaced with what's going on with me. I actually don't know a single thing about it. I don't know where it is. I don't know where it's supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't know anything.
About Atlantis?
Yeah, about Atlantis.
The lost city of Atlantis. You don't know anything at all. What is the little you know? It's just a lost city, or?
Was Poseidon there? I'm really trying to be funny. I do not know.
I really don't know either. I think I've covered it in a video before, but it was so long ago I just forgot.
So this is another one of those situations where Caleb knows all about it and I'm a big idiot.
No.
You've done a video about it before?
No, I don't think so. Have we done a video about it? Do you know, John? I don't think we have. It's been a long time if we have.
So we might be walking into this one butt naked.
Yeah, I feel like I don't know anything about it. Whenever I think of Atlantis, I think of that, the Gungan city, the underwater Gungan city from the prequels of Star Wars.
Does it have anything to do with the Hyperborea?
I don't know.
I don't even know what that is.
That's like that's a mythical place.
Sure. Cold?
Yeah, it's in the very far north.
I know Atlantis is wet.
How many slides? Oh my God!
Our wonderful writer stayed up until 8 a.m. this morning getting this done.
Oh, wow.
So we got a lot to get into.
It's a Kurt moment.
Yeah.
You know, Kurt's are my favorite names.
Really?
Yeah, if I ever have a son, I'm going to name Kurt.
Really?
Yeah.
That means a lot to me. Nothing to do with it.
Well, I mean, I feel like he's pretty cool. I like him.
I love him. I really love him.
There's a legend of a lost world, an ancient civilization so advanced, so powerful that it threatened to conquer all of Eurasia. A place of abundant resources, glittering temples, and impossible technology. A place inhabited by descendants of the gods, and then, in a single moment, gone, swallowed by the sea. This is the legend of Atlantis.
But I was going to say, but is it real? Because I just read that and I was like, is this like a fact?
Factoid?
This is mythological.
Some people believe it's real, I think, but also some people think that the moon landing was fake.
Man, those guys are super smart. So I think this is probably real.
All right, Frank, you gotta quit trotting around with your little clacky feet. Come on, you little clacky feet.
Wasn't SpongeBob? Was it King Neptune was from Atlantis?
Maybe.
What do I know about it? I don't know. Like, I know something, surely to God.
There, Davy Jones' locker.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Davy Jones there?
Origins of the claim. Okay, here's the origin of the claim. Would you like to read this, or would you like me to?
I got it. Almost all of the meaningful information we have about Atlantis comes from Plato and his dialogues, the Timaeus and Critias, written circa 360 BC. Plato himself claimed that the story ultimately came from the Egyptians, and the great Athenian lawgiver Solon learned it from them. There's words I'm not familiar with. Atlantis is also mentioned to a lesser degree in the works of Strabo, or is it Strabo? Pliny or Pliny the Elder, and Proclus. I'm probably
Pliny the Elder, Proclus.
Do you know who they are?
Yeah, they're boys from Atlanta.
And they just kind of thug it out, or what?
Yeah, they're really smart.
They philosophize and they thug a theater?
They document, they philosophize, they research, they document. That's what they're known for.
So
Pliny the Elder.
They're like philosophizing gangbangers.
Kind of, yeah. Pliny the Elder, and there's a younger as well. Pliny the Younger? It doesn't matter.
I wish I was Brandon the Younger instead of Brandon the bum loser.
Brandon the bum fart?
Brandon the dumb ass. So the story goes that in the mid-6th century BC, the famous Athenian lawgiver Solon journeyed to Egypt, and there he learned the story of Atlantis from the Egyptian priests. The Egyptian priests told Solon that 9,000 years previously there had been a great island empire out beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which was called Atlantis. They were a highly advanced seafaring people, and they once threatened to conquer all of the ancient world. This is how Plato first introduces the story. That's really interesting.
That is really interesting.
I didn't know it had anything to do with Plato or Egypt. Did you?
I knew that it was ancient Greece, but I didn't know that it was Egypt or anything like that. I love the sea peoples, though. The sea peoples, Hittites, and sea peoples.
And the Vikings?
No.
That's different.
A little different. Slightly. Different age.
I've heard of the Hittites.
Yeah, Bronze Age.
Yeah, Bronze Age warrior.
Did you see my story the other day on Instagram?
What was it?
It was 30 Bronze Age memes in a row.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. Oh!
Oh, yeah. You got this one.
Many great and wonderful deeds are recorded for your state histories, but not one of them exceeds all the rest in greatness and valor. For these histories tell of the mighty power which unprovoked made an expedition against the whole of Europe and Asia, and to which your city put an end. Power come forth out of the Atlantic Ocean. For in those days the Atlantic was navigable, and there was an island situated in front of the straits that are by what you call the Pillars of Heracles. The island was larger than Libya and Asia put together, and was the way to other islands. And from these you might pass the whole of the opposite continent. Okay, so this is
an excerpt from Plato, maybe?
Solon, maybe?
Or Solon?
I think this is the guy who vast power gathered into one subduable oath. So this is kind of a bit of exposition. But afterwards there occurred violent earthquakes and floods, and in a single day and night of misfortune, all of your warlike men in a body sank into the earth, and the island of Atlantis in like manner disappeared into the depths of the sea. For which reason the sea in those parts is impassable and impenetrable, because there is a shoal of mud in the way, and this was caused the subsidence of the island. Interesting.
That sucks. So they were like really good, and then it was just over immediately?
It seems like they weren't that good.
Why? What did I miss?
Well, they just disappeared. They got by nothing.
That's why they weren't.
That's why they suck, yeah.
Yeah, get a grip on the tectonic plates, dude.
Yeah. I mean, even like Rome, hundreds of years later, 1,000 years later, basically, experienced like Pompeii and Vesuvius, the eruption of Vesuvius, and it pulled them up. But they had so many other cities. Like, what kind of city is just in one area?
You wouldn't think it.
What dumbass?
What if three?
How do you trade?
The
How do you trade?
volcano.
It's in the island. Mud shoal.
Yeah, the mud shoal.
I'm sinking in the mud shoal.
Dude, take a Percocet, bro.
Yeah, pop a perk.
Get over it.
Pop a perk and chill.
Yeah, I had no idea Atlanta had so much turmoil. Plato's Atlantis. Atlantis was an island kingdom out in the sea beyond the Pillars of Hercules. On the far western edge of the world, it was larger than all of Libya and Asia combined. It was founded by Poseidon.
You got that, dude.
The Greek god of the sea.
He's found that.
Poseidon mated with a mortal woman named Plato, who was native to that land. Their union gave rise to a race of semi-divine men who would become the Atlantean rulers. They had 10 sons, Muscle was nothing. 5 sets of twins, whoa, and divided the realm amongst these 10. The eldest son was named Atlas, and he was made chief of the 10 and was given the capital city. The realm was called Atlantis after him. These 10 kingdoms remained allied with each other and met every few years to sacrifice bulls to their forefather Poseidon.
Interesting.
Why bulls?
The white bull, there's a lot of Greek mythology centered around the value of a white bull.
Kill it.
I believe it's a sacrifice to the Greek gods, yes.
I'm not into the sacrifice.
Even of a white bull?
I won't kill a bull.
I mean, you eat steak.
Well, if I'm gonna eat it, I'll kill it.
Like, imagine how delicious that's where the symbolism comes from, in my opinion. It's like, it's a beautiful white bull steak. Delicious.
They eat it?
I assume.
Well, then that's good. I thought they were just killing it for.
I couldn't imagine they just think it. They just kill it indiscriminately and they just corpse.
Yeah, they sodomize it. Now we're talking Atlanta.
Oh no.
Don't say that.
You can say whatever you want.
Okay.
Okay.
I was just puking. Cut me some slack.
Plato's Atlantis. Atlantis' capital city was filled with beautiful temples and palaces covered in shining gold, masterful engineering and technology beyond comprehension. The great temple of Poseidon sat directly in the center of it all. It lay in the middle of a plain that was surrounded by mountains. The city was made of 5 concentric circles of land and water. Each ring was connected by large bridges and tunnels, and they were all connected to outer ocean by a great man-made canal. The outside ring is where the majority of the Atlantean population lived. The middle ring was where the Atlantean military and royal guards were stationed, and in the center of the rings was a sacred temple where stood the Atlantean royal palace, as well as Poseidon's temple. The harbor was full of docks and naval buildings, and the Atlanteans were by far the greatest of all naval powers. They were immensely powerful, and the chief Atlantean kingdom had 1,200 ships and an army of over 1 million men, and they all just disappeared?
1 million?
What the a million?
That's too many.
I don't buy that.
I don't buy that for 1 second.
What was the population of, like, Athens in 6th century BC?
Yeah.
Probably small in the 6th century. Because, like, the 3rd, 4th century was approaching the peak, I believe, of the Greek-Peloponnesian War.
Yeah. Jamie, can you pull that up?
Jamie. Frankie, can you pull that up, Frankie? In Athens in what year? 6th century, they had 6th century BC, 250,000 people.
And these didn't just have a million men; they had an army of a million military men.
That's more than we have active military, I think, in the U.S.
Cap. This is cap.
What?
I don't buy this.
Oh shit!
I don't buy this. And also, the situation of their city doesn't even make sense. They're a naval warfaring island, yet all of the civilians are on the outer ring and the military's on the inner ring. So if they would be invaded, then wouldn't the civilians just get blasted?
Seems like that. That's how the Spartans did it, though. They had the helots, the serfs around Sparta.
So it's better that way, maybe?
I mean, yeah, if you lose your serfs.
Okay.
Your slaves.
I forgot the pecking order.
Yeah, the pecking order, the caste, the Atlantean caste. It's very similar to the castes of India.
I gotta keep that in mind going forward, the pecking order.
Mm-hmm.
Plato's Atlantis. These were people with advanced technology and divine ancestry, complex city design with multi-level harbors, docks, and warehouses, advanced irrigation, and a massive canal system that connected the city to the sea. The ability to access and use hot and cold water, a sophisticated government ruled by 10 semi-divine kings, and a detailed legal code engraved on a
Check weapon gear.
Everyone's dying in the sea. You know it. Can you help? Turns in my soul. Fuck you guys, you can order silver fire to get every breakfast.
He's that guy who carries the notes. He's the David Goggins with Rick Rico.
Yeah, but you need a big drug security goes tomorrow.
Over time, the Atlantic race grew tremendously. As they grew in material power, they declined spiritually, and gradually they became more reductive. This is the same story that's happening in every religion ever. Rome, the Bible, Cain and Abel and shit. Additionally, they defined what became more and more basic the blood of the world's earth, so they began to lose their inner virtue and follow the Olympian gods became angry. Zeus himself determined to punish the invention. Zeus had recounted and determined how that sometimes these people would begin. This is the dramatic moment about the hundred. That was the same thing. These were the burden of the around the earth story.
Sometime before stage ends, the Egyptians launched an invasion of all the ancient world and were really victorious for their undefeated But you know what Genghis Khan and Hitler didn't have? Fathers.
It backfires. It seems like the nepotism, it always backfires. Exactly. Oh, here we go, and look, we got an awesome tie-in to all the ancient flood myths, the myths of the Nephilim. This is so good. This is very well written. I like this.
You like this?
All over the world.
Can I get some perspective? I'm so stupid that I don't like orders like this because I don't even know what any of this is besides the military.
I like this. It's good. It's giving us the exposition of the Atlantis, and it's tying it in like how I've been naturally kind of speaking about flood myths. All over the world, there are these stories of catastrophic floods sent by the gods to wipe out mankind as divine punishment for their sin. There's usually a hero who, with divine help, survives the cataclysm and lives and restarts everything. Even though these events come from completely different places and times in history, they all share common themes and similarities that suggest they do indeed stem from a common origin. And so these stories have long thought to be connected and have historical origins. I did do a video about the Nephilim and these stories. So in many of these myths, as well as the Atlantis stories, the purpose of the floods to punish or face A race of semi-divine men, offspring of male gods and former mortals, but become immortal or simple and fine.
Grounding death.
Considering the Atlantis next to part of the broader tradition, does that potentially give more credibility? It does seem like those other stories. It seems like the Epic of Gilgamesh, the story of Manu.
We're getting another chance. Weapons free.
Yeah, that's Gilgamesh. I'm big on Gilgamesh. I'm big on Gilgamesh.
I don't know about any of this.
I'm big on my boy Gilgamesh.
I don't know about any of this stuff, dude. I've been getting really into Pokemon cards, and I'm way out of my element. But I'm enjoying it. This is freaking interesting.
Pokemon cards and wrestling?
Yeah. Alpha male stuff, because I'm so alpha, you can see by my general disposition.
Enemy dropping into the AO.
Like how alpha I am?
It makes me think of the pecking order.
Yeah, now I'm obviously at the top because I'm the deepest guy that I'm more Exactly. A paradise to the west. Atlantis, basically described as a paradise on the western edge of the earth in the outer ocean. Look at similar motifs from other cultures. The Elysian Fields lie beyond the sea to the west, on the edge of the world, and are a place of eternal bliss for those who have lived virtuously. The Irish Otherworld, Amlin, Avalon, things I can't pronounce. Likewise, a place of eternal bliss which can be found across the western sea. The Phoenix, the serpent's nest beyond the outer ocean on the edge of the world, was reborn in a state of eternal immortality. Gilgamesh's journeying to the edge of the world to find, help me with that? Utnapishtim. That's what that is? Utnapishtim, survivor of the Great Flood, in hopes to discover the secret of immortality. Are these spiritual memories reminiscent of our higher Atlantean? I am.
You're an Atlantean?
Yeah, because this seems good.
This does seem good. You know, we belong to a great race from Atlanta.
And that's why I'm so alpha.
That's exactly why you're so alpha. My pappy's like, Poseidon. You need to be split with seeds.
That's what Christians are working on.
Cursing you into a mud shoal.
Yeah, my dad would be the mud shoal.
Orichalcum. Atlantis was said to have been rich in a metal called orichalcum. It was used as a currency on the island and was second only to gold in value. The Atlantean metal is attested in multiple sources to having existed, not just on Atlantis, but on the mainland as well. In Virgil's Aeneid, the breastplate of King Croesus is said to have been made with orichalcum, and the metal is mentioned by other writers such as Hesiod and Pliny. In 2015, it was claimed that 39 ingots of wood claimed to be the Atlantean metal orichalcum were found in the shipwreck off the coast of Sicily. That's orichalcum. The ingots consist of 70 to 80% copper and 15-20% zinc. Holy shit! That's shit metal there, bud.
Copper and zinc.
Yeah, that's what it makes things out of. Lower level. Yeah, bullshit.
I never heard of orichalcum.
You never played Skyrim?
I have. Is it in there?
Orcish armor? What is it? Is it in there? Okay.
That's cool as shit. Sometimes being smarter makes things more enjoyable, and being dumber makes them less enjoyable because you don't know.
But it's more blissful.
Yeah.
Bliss.
I've played Skyrim and I do not ever remember hearing the word orichalcum.
How about orcish?
Orcish? Yeah. But I'm thinking about orc and archive.
Like that little thing.
So I'm all mixed up.
Yeah.
So the orichalcum gives us some credence, right? Or maybe just coincidental.
I mean, it seems like shit though. It seems like dog shit.
Yeah.
It seems like just some Bronze Age contraption that not even
not advanced, not useful.
Not even salt.
That's a good currency, maybe.
Just use gold.
Yeah.
Oh, not use gold. Gold's rare. Copper.
Well done.
Shekel.
How many shekels is one orichalcum worth?
I feel like shekels are worth more. But what do I know?
The invasion. The purported invasion that is claimed to have happened is perhaps the most interesting part. The Great War was fought all across the ancient world, and many nations were subdued before the ancestors of the Athenian Greeks defeated the Atlanteans. Did the invasion take place before Atlantis was flooded, or did the invasion happen afterwards? Precisely because the flood had already happened and the Atlanteans had nowhere else to go.
Oh, that's a good question.
So what if they got beat by Athens, that's not that crazy.
Then they were bums.
Yeah.
Well, what if it happened after the flood and like most of their military got wrecked and all they had was their remaining military?
And they just got molested by a bunch of philosophers and Athens.
Is there going to be anyone for this game returning with the dog, or is it going to...
No, you have to stop. Yeah. You're the one who's going to stop. You'll never stop.
Yeah. I thought maybe I could save you.
No, there's no such thing.
I think it's a bad game.
Yeah, it's an endless... And she'll get up on the couch now, and she'll dig that up, and she'll run away with it, and
Falcon made a big mistake.
There she goes. And she's gonna get it. She's gonna get it. She'll dig until she gets it. She will never stop. She can't stop. She needs to do the shindig.
I want to feel like she's like a little bit toy.
Dude, just like, I want that.
Yeah.
Give me that.
I need something like that. I didn't even feel like if there was a $1 stuck somewhere, I wouldn't be like, freaking out and digging it. I probably should, though.
Read that.
Plato says Atlantis sunk around 9000 BC. Some theories hold true to Plato's dating. Others stray from it by many thousands of years. Should we demand that Plato's dating be precisely accurate? Or is it possible that we could find Atlantis in another time?
I don't know. Oh my!
Squad mate, back on station. Good work.
Okay, so we're dating it now at 9000 BC, so
it could be off by many thousands of years.
Is it possible to get to the bottom of the Atlantis, or even identify the ruins of the lost city?
I hope so.
I love that guy, Giorgio Tsoukalos.
Are people using him?
Oh my god.
He doesn't care. No, he's cool.
Anybody with hair and big ideas, big hair and big ideas.
I feel like his hair is just like that because he doesn't care.
Yeah, that's what happens when you don't care.
Yeah.
No effort in the world can make hair look like that.
I don't like his vibe. He's passionate, he's smart.
Yeah, he also speaks, I believe, multiple languages.
So he's way smarter than me.
Totally.
Identifying
Enemy
Atlantis.
UAV is
Possibility
online.
1. Farah,
Enemy UAV
does it matter how bad I'm
Enemy UAV
Farah
is
and
online.
Minoan at Croctiri.
Enemy deployed.
Farah and
Advanced
Minoan at
UAV.
Croctiri. The Minoans were a great and mysterious seafaring people,
inbound.
highly advanced for their time, who lived on the island of Crete. They were the subject of many fantastic mythological claims, including that it was the original homeland of the Israelites, and that it was the birthplace of Zeus himself, the king of the gods. Around 1600 BC, the Farah volcano erupted. This caused a tremendous amount of ash and gas, and even tsunamis to release on the Minoan civilization. The Minoan city of Akrotiri was completely swallowed by the volcano's ash. That sucks. There is evidence that after the eruption, there would indeed have been a new large structure reminiscent of Plato's description of Atlantis. Some, including a 2015 History Channel documentary called Atlantis Found, have claimed that Farah's eruption and the subsequent decline of the Minoans were the inspiration for the Atlantis legend.
Interesting. That does make a little bit of sense, but I love just a side tangent here. I love how the History Channel and the Discovery Channel both have like mermaid proof discovered. They've got like these stupid, fake, bullshit documentaries that it's just totally nonsense.
Bro, around like 2008, did you watch like the mermaid, like we found mermaids?
Dude, I was hooked up to it. I was so ready.
And they had like found footage and stuff.
Yeah, it was fake as fuck.
I fully believed it was real, and then told my dad passionately about it, and he was like, "You're a complete idiot."
Oh.
He was like, "This isn't real. I promise you it's not real. You're an idiot." I was like, "It is. It is. My God." And then he like showed me it was like something like a disclaimer that isn't real.
Enemy UAV is online.
Yeah, it's a mockumentary. It's not a mockumentary. It's just what is he playing?
Advise you to load up
They
now.
did.
All the respect my dad had, he ended on that day.
And he never came back.
He hasn't talked to me since.
You were what? 10 years old?
13.
13?
I was like 32 when my dad left my life and he never came back.
All because of the Discovery Channel and mermaids. I remember that when it aired, I legitimately, I thought it was going to be real. But I watched it and I was like, oh, that's fake.
Really?
Fake as fuck.
What about the people that had like extra webbed fingers and they could swim, and the people that could see in the water better? It just made sense that there could have been an island somewhere that slowly sank into the ocean and people over hundreds of thousands of millions of years ago. Mermaids.
Well, yeah, I think the aquatic ape theory is that as well. But I don't know about mermaids. Merman! What would that mean? The Atlanteans are the Minoans?
Perhaps.
Possibility 2. Mid-Atlantic Ridge. There is a massive underwater mountain range right in the center of the Atlantic Ocean. Many believe that this land was at one time above sea level and sank later. It includes volcanic islands such as the Azores and Iceland, which are still to this day above sea level and inhabited by humans. It lies beyond the Pillars of Hercules out in the Atlantic Ocean and is also larger than Libya and Asia combined, and so matches with Turkey. However, there is not currently any trace of an advanced civilization having ever existed there. Many proponents believe that the Azores specifically are the remnants of Atlantis. That part of people think that this The Azores is the remnants of Atlantis.
Haven't we only, like, explored seaport?
Yeah, I believe it's might even less than that.
So Atlantis could be.
I believe it.
I'm totally
I think this is more likely to be man.
something going to happen. Atlantis exists. That's what he said. Next slide. That's correct. That's you.
There it is, dude. Appalachian, okay, so we have the Appalachian Mountain Range there in the middle, and we have Atlanta. You making good kind of chicken along masturbate? Yes. Possibility 3, Spain. There are a number of locations in Spain which have suggested as possible locations
Being
for
sus.
Atlantis. These include the region of Andalusia. The Spartel Bank, suburban structures found off the coast of Cadiz. The underwater plateau of the river and northern Detroit. There's like land behind me. Totally, the underwater plateau in the northern Spain known as La Danois Bank. La Danois, and various others. The mishmash of articles over there.
Yeah.
Also, this is very well written, I have to say. I like the phrasing.
You give props to the big dog, because he worked hard on it. He worked hard for like 4 days on it, was freaking out the whole 4 days about how he felt like he wasn't doing good enough.
I feel like this is excellent. Comment down below. What do you guys think? Is this good? What do you want to see Kurt write about next?
Yeah, he'll do anything, and he works hard, and I love him very much. Some claim that Plato never even intended this Atlantis story to be taken as actual history at all, but that he invented a moral allegory to explain the consequences of hubris and of man's overreaching beyond what has been given to him by the gods. Does this even make sense with all the detail he put into his account? Well, much like the Bible. There's stories in the Bible that are supposed to just be not taken literally, right? It's to do with moral teachings.
I think that's just based on some people's interpretations. I believe so.
Or is that blasphemous, what I just said?
I think that could be considered blasphemous, but I would like to believe that that the stuff that's
Warzone.
makes no sense at all is just a symbolic allegory.
Yeah, take the moral lesson out of it.
Warzone.
Yeah.
I don't think it's funny with that.
Yeah, I do. That's fine.
Come to Atlanta and find
I'm in Atlantis. I'm out in the middle of the Atlantic Ridge.
I'm in the mud.
I'm in the mud shoal. I'm neck deep in the mud shoal. Plato clearly said that Atlantis was out beyond the Pillars of Hercules. But while today the Pillars of Hercules are now known to be the Straits of Gibraltar, it is entirely possible that the original storyteller intended an entirely different location. There is a record of Hercules having set up pillars elsewhere all around the ancient world.
Okay,
For example, Socrates wrote that Hercules erected pillars near Troy.
Yeah. I've heard that before.
My pillar hasn't been erected for a long time.
Aww. Tacitus mentions pillars of Hercules in the far north in the Germanic world. There's even evidence of the Greeks believing that there were pillars of Hercules in southern Greece. So if the pillars of Hercules meant by the Egyptian priests were anywhere other than the Gibraltar, that would completely change the location of Atlantis. I smell poop.
That's not good.
I think Frankie farted a little bit. Something. I don't think she's allowed to be with us next time we do a video.
Yeah,
she's so annoying. But she's really happy.
Good.
Your life is really good. I love Frankie. Your life is really good right now.
She reminds me of Pumpkin's like overbearing need to be up on me at all times. Does she get rejected and dejected at a certain point, or she just keeps going?
I reject her and I tell her to go lay down and she just sits and looks at me.
Yeah, because if I reject Pumpkin enough, she gets like super like upset.
Depressed,
She's like doesn't love me.
Yeah, exactly.
But like it's about cuddling with you for 3 hours. Like what the f is supposed to happen?
There's no reasoning with idiots.
No. Possibility 4.
Use this time for some self-respect.
Hello? Yeah, that's my balls. You guys was a city in Greece during Plato's lifetime that had 8 very small letters, and one night in 373, realized the state was an earthquake and tsunami, and some people see lost forever. Some suggested to be close to the land. So if Plato was personally familiar with sea life, what would be the point of adding all the other fantastical details to the life story which don't fit? Is that he was just a real good? It's a practice story. Yeah, I didn't even know that. That's really nice. You knew that. Let's just actually listen to Al Gore
Other possibilities, any other locations have been offered up as locations for Atlantis in the centuries. These include Corsica and Sardinia, which were originally one single island, but there was something that rode between them, I guess. Places in Italy, proponents of which often bring up the similarity between the name of Italy and Atlas. True. Troy, another location said to have been wiped out after deliberation by the Council of Olympians. The Black Sea, which, by the way, speaking of all the symbol and allegory and all this stuff, a lot of people thought that Troy and the story of Achilles and all that, they thought Troy was a myth, but they found remnants of Troy. It is a real action. Well, we don't know about Achilles specifically and Hector, but Troy for a long time was thought to be a part of that. But Troy actually
the World Cup like
yeah. Take that shit off.
The Black Sea. You know about that?
Based on the idea that the pillars of Hercules could refer to the Strait of Bosphorus. I do like the actual proper use of etc. I often use etc. It bothers me when people say etc. because it's etc. And it's when you actually do have other spaces that you just want to convince that space. Most people give all their examples and then they say etc. That's how I use it. So not most people.
I'll be like, she's sucking on, she's rubbing on it.
I like that. Sucking, rubbing, dude.
Before we move on to the next possible location for Atlantis, let us stop and look back for a moment at the character of Atlas, the original king of Atlantis.
Atlas was included with of Atlantis. More often than other sources, he was one of the Titans who fought in a great war against the Olympian gods alongside his uncle Croner. When most of the Titans were condemned to Tartarus after they were defeated, Atlas was usually sent to the far west and forced to hold the heavens on his shoulders. You to be your ass, go far west and hold up the world. That was terrible.
How many weeks are we doing that?
You have a choice, Brandon. Go far west and hold up the world.
I'm just gonna go to my show.
Good for yourself.
Yeah. My baby.
In other sources, he is king of Mauritania, land to the west of Africa on the Atlantic coast. Because I know that Atlas, he's the one who holds the rock above his shoulder, the world. Who's calling you?
I would think Atlas was like a master navigator or something.
He circumnavigated the globe.
But he didn't, that's true.
Who, Atlas?
He didn't navigate.
I don't believe so, no.
Who would have thought that Atlas and Young Thug lived in the same city this whole time?
Small world.
It was a small world. No, but the whole Atlanta thing comes from one of me and my brother's dead friends, Jared, we were friends with. And he was all tuned up one time. And I think Kurt was talking about Atlantis. And after Kurt totally was explaining a bunch of stuff and talking about stuff, Jared looked at him and he was like, "Oh yeah, man, that's where I want to raise my kids, Atlanta." And it was so funny. It was like, did you not hear anything that was just said?
Yeah.
It was really good.
Atlanta. Raise your kids in Atlanta.
Why would you want to do that?
I don't know. I don't know why you want to. It'd be so hard to raise a kid in a city, I think.
I wouldn't, personally. I'm not a city guard. I could have been in the suburbs.
I could call my land.
Yeah, you should.
Change my farm.
Atlanta.
It's Atlanta. Atlas gave his name to the Atlantic Ocean. Atlas was king of Atlantis, and he gave his name to Atlantis and to the Atlantic Ocean. Atlas was also said to be king of the Mauritania. And he gave his name to the Atlas Mountains, which lie in Mauritania. I'm not saying that right. Mauritania. Indeed, some said that he had long ago transformed into the very mountains themselves. That's a cool legend.
How did he do that?
He's big.
I'm interested in doing that.
He's big. Turned into a mountain one day.
I'd be interested in that. Climb me.
Mates and mates, y'all.
Climb me. It does.
And just below the Atlas Mountains in Mauritania, and on the coast of the Atlantic Ocean lies our next and most confusing possible continent. I would like this.
I'm disconnected. Moving on. Oh, there we are.
There you go. What's that?
Oh, dude. The Ricot structure, the Ricot structure. What would you say?
I would say Ricot.
The Ricot structure.
I have no idea.
Possibility 5.
The Ricot structure. Go ahead.
The Ricot structure, on the eye of the Sahara, bears more striking resemblance to Plato's Atlantis than does any other location. It has a circular reef formation which can be seen from base and is made up of concentric circles and couldn't be a better match for Plato's city, having alternating concentric rings of water and land. It is located in Mauritania, a land said to be ruled by Atlas, who is in the Plato. Dude, what's happening to my brain right now? Who is in Plato the ruler? Is that weird to you at all? Next line. It lies south of the Atlas Mountain, and not far from the place that we ran both locations named after Atlas. There is evidence that there were rivers, lakes, and water development of the top structure. These sailors could indeed have reached the structure by sailing out past the floors of Hercules and turning back in towards the that looks like practice.
The picture for it looks like a weird nipple.
It does.
Additionally, there's another source which points to the region of Mauritania around the Atlas Mountains as being the homeland of the Atlantean people, and that is secret. No, the Atlantean Amazonian War. There's a record of people in this region of Mauritania who are referred to as explicitly Atlanteans. Greek historian Diodorus Siculus recorded a legend that these Atlanteans once fought a great war with the legendary Amazons. These Amazons were a tribe made up exclusively of big bitches. Warlike women, and in particular Amazons were located in Libya rather than in their usual Scythia. Scholars say that these other Atlanteans are not to be identified with people of Plato's Atlantis, but they have the same name and they live around these mountains named after the very god who is said to be the king of Atlantis. Interesting. I've never heard of the Atlantean Amazonian War.
Is it historical or mythological?
I think the Amazonian women are mythological. Scythia or Scythia, I feel like.
God, I don't want to be. It's not so well.
Let's hold that back.
Hold that one.
So is the region of Mauritania the homeland of Plato's Atlanteans? And is the Richat structure the lost capital city of Atlantis?
Stop. Why is that believing other than like it makes sense? Problems with the Richat structure theory. As interesting and candidly as it may seem, there are problems with the Richat structure theory. It's far too old. The Richat structure was formed over 100 million years ago, and the idea that it was constructed by Atlanteans 9,000 years ago, or even by the humans at all, is impossible. It's not underwater, but rather it seems that even the water that once was the site has all dried up. But the key is that it was all by the sea. There are signs of human habitation, such as arrowheads and stone tools, in the base of the Richat, but these indicate primitive society rather than anything close to Plato's magnificent description. There are no rails, no pottery, no writing, and no sign of civilization.
Still, there are other possibilities.
Sector 25.
Are we getting the Hyperborea right now?
Is this a joke? Possibility 6, the North Pole. In 1885, William Fairfield Warren, a professor of systematic theology at Boston University, claimed that the original homeland of mankind was at the North Pole. He believed that not just Atlantis, but other mythical locations, such as the Garden of Eden, Mount Meru, Avalon, and Hyperborea, were all folk memories of mankind's original home far to the north, the North Pole.
So how could there be a garden in the North Pole? Because last I checked, gardens don't start in ice.
Well, I believe the idea was that it was before it was cold.
So it was warmer?
Warm.
I believe it.
Yep.
I'll believe anything.
Why do some people believe the Atlanteans built pyramids? The traces are left among us. Could it be the known technological advancements of our ancestors were a direct result of their interacting with and learning from this advanced semi-divine Atlantean race? Some people think the Atlanteans built the pyramids. What else would have likely come from them if they had existed? Traces left among us. Is it possible that the great seafaring cultures throughout history have a common origin from Atlantis? Common gift from Atlantis? A Viking ship? A Phoenician ship? Interesting. They do look similar.
If they're so advanced, do you think they had like
jet skis?
Like jet skis and like helicopters or
probably
like self-suck machines?
Yeah. Down at the mud show.
Because that's advanced.
Get your tip licked at the mud show.
I'll go down there tonight if that's the case.
Tracy's got stone circles. Mysterious stone circles in various forms can be found throughout the world. Many coastal nations, such as the Celts, have long had a preoccupation with symbolic circles. Could these circles be reminiscent of the significance of the Atlantean capital city with its concentric alternating rings of land and water? Ireland, Scandinavia, Sardinia, Israel. Dude, people loved building shit in a circle. For a long time. That's like all we knew how to do.
What's the Peruvian city?
Go back to the second.
I don't know. Am I totally tripping?
The Peruvian city?
Yeah.
Is it like an ancient one?
Yeah.
Mozambique? No, I know what you're talking about. Machu Picchu.
Machu Picchu, right? Is that not? Can I please not be totally just dumb here? Is this possibly something?
Enemy soldier incoming.
I don't know. Yeah, no, that's pretty good. That's a big guy. How did you get splayed over? Look at that. These colors are giants. The Atlanteans descended from the union between the god Poseidon and the mortal woman Plato, and they were highly advanced technologically. There's a definite similarity. The Nephilim, to traditions about giants and other cultures, in biblical tradition, the Nephilim were a race of giants descended from the sons of gods and daughters of mankind. They were, like the Atlanteans, considered highly advanced technologically and were responsible for the majority of humanity's technological advancement. Consider that descendants of these Nephilim were found among the Philistines, and that these giants are alive. Scholars have long acknowledged that these Philistines have their origins in the sea peoples that we have discussed previously. So it's all connected, dude. It's
big body and also super smart.
Big body, super smart? Well, not big body, funny, big, giant, ugly chin, and you die when you're 60. You're just big. You're just a normal guy, but big.
That was in the story of Sam in the Bible, right?
Possibility 7. Sleeping in the genetic world. In the 17th century, a Swedish scholar named Olaus Lundberg claimed that sleep, along with thought from the homeland of the genetic peoples, was actually the original location of our lands. Lundberg's methods are acknowledged today as being advanced far beyond the other scholars of his day. Similarly, in the 20th century, archaeologist Albert Herman claimed the city of London was stronger than genetic peoples. Everybody in the 1800s, wanted to have some kind of a race with some divine, let's be real. That was a big thing in the 18th, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th centuries. Painting, the early days, and more. Pecking order shit. Caucasian, they thought they said stuff too. I'm not saying it.
No. I think you're not saying that. He's saying the caucasoids are numero uno. That's the quote. Write the articles. Let's start it all from now.
That's not true. That's what people do. Archaeologists and anthropologists from the 20th century were very racist.
People believe that makes king cup.
Caucasian is fun to say, I gotta say. It is. The people of the North do stand out for their appearance, particularly their light hair and their great height. They are well known for their naval capabilities and famously threaten the entire world. And even though these peoples appear relatively late in history, they have since been responsible for disproportionate contributions to advancement technology. That is true. The Romans have Vikings have 4 days a week named after
That's excellent.
There we go.
The idea that the Germanic peoples were descended from a higher Atlantean race has since been taken up by other prominent thinkers and has perhaps been more influential than any other Atlantean identification in modern times. I need 1 second to remove this as I'm starting to drip sweat. And I start sweating.
Enemies are dropping into the area.
What is this? What am I looking at?
Squad mates redeployed.
That's a wild combo. And some Hindu stuff, which I think the SWAT is.
Hostile UAV in the area.
Ironic. Helena Blavatsky was a Russian occultist and co-founder of the Theosophical Society. The Theosophical Society had tens of thousands of members at its peak. The Theosophists believed that humanity was a series of root races which progressively evolved and gave way to succeeding forms. The fourth of these root races was the Atlantean. Theosophists believed that Atlantis was a real civilization that possessed great abilities in astronomy and the occult, but that over time they lost their power, became diluted, and gave way to later root races. Interesting. I love the occult. They fell off. Polarian, ethereal, non-physical beings that reproduce by dividing like a amoeba. You want to really talk about?
Alright, root races of theosophy. The first root race is the Polarians, an ethereal non-physical beings that reproduce by the magnet of new levels.
Sounds like bullshit! Sounds like bullshit!
I don't think they ever done that. Second, Hyperboreans. Living in a tropical Hyperborea to the north, golden in color, they reproduce by garden-like flowers. Dude! Third, the Lemurian. Lived in Lemuria, a metal continent in the Indian Ocean. These people lived alongside dinosaurs and reproduced by shitting on the floor.
That's crazy, dude. I get what you're saying. That's a funny joke.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The fourth root race, Atlantean. The race of Atlantis, technologically advanced but morally fallen. The fifth, the Aryan. Humans' current root race. The sixth and seventh, the unnamed super spiritual races yet to be created.
AI.
Yeah,
Superorganism
Mark Zuckerberg.
Yeah, the Lemurians, by the way, they reproduce by laying eggs, not shooting on the floor.
Yeah, I just said it was a typo.
Enemy UAV overhead.
It was not.
He had a typo.
Good kill. Marking the rest of that squad as your tag man.
It's been noted that none of this is in Plato's original account. Blavatsky claimed to have received this information by telepathically accessing the lost mythical book of Zizyan. I love the idea of telepathically reading the book.
The same thing like the Mormons.
I was going to say some more.
I don't want to be hateful to the Mormon people.
Friendly loadout dropped on the way.
Yeah. Hey brother, separate the art from the artist.
I have a hard time
Enemy
with
UAV is online.
looking for a hat and you have your scroll and no one else can see him. So you know him in the hat.
But what about walking on water?
Yeah, that's gaze up. Yeah, not good.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of, that's the whole point of faith, right? There has to be you have to suspend disbelief from yourself.
Yeah, because it was so believable.
It'd be easy. Exactly. It'd be easy if you.
You're out of time. The five stations are
Rudolf Steiner, another prominent proponent of the Atlantean root race theory, claimed he got this information by spiritually accessing a secret Akashic record, an ultimate compendium of all information that exists, which could be accessed using one's spiritual faculties. I think if anybody says they got anything from an Akashic record, they're full of
Ellen Hubbard said that.
Yeah.
Hostile UAV in the area. Enemy UAV is online.
I did one time busting. Yeah. One time busting, I saw symbols all over my vision.
Really, what are they good about?
They were just crazy, like weird lines. There was like a big circle of lines, and there was like a circle in the middle.
Oh, you know what happened?
What?
It came in your eyes. Good up your eyes.
That's not what happened. It was dark. It was dark, and I couldn't see, and I closed my eyes, and it was just like crazy.
It was good?
Yeah, and then I dreamt about it later that night. It was crazy.
Come visit in my eyes. Visit in my eyes on a Friday night.
Visit in my eyes on a Friday night.
Should we take seriously these more recent modern claims? Should their claims be taken as a legitimate part
Hostile
of the
UAV in the area.
long-term Plato's dialogue?
These occult fascinations mixed with an actual attempt in archaeology in the 1930s and 40s when the Third Reich took power. So now we're in the Nazis. The School Society. Read about the School Society. We got Himmler and
Let's get you on your feet.
You know about this stuff.
School Society, but I don't know if that's what this is.
Anna Nerby? Anna Nerby? Is that what that is?
I don't know.
This is all you players.
Ahnenava Institute of Ancestral Heritage was a Nazi research organization founded in 1935 to study the ancient origins, history, and culture of the Aryan race. Many prominent members of the Third Reich believed that the genetic people originated in a higher Atlantean race with semi-divine blood that had been mixed and diluted over time. The Aryan Atlantean origin possibility was taken so seriously that the Anunnaki, it's like Anunnaki, conducted expeditions across the world searching for evidence for supposed lost homeland. Many members of the Anunnaki embraced occult practices and are known to have made use of the occult in research. These are the bad guys, Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark. So this is the Fool Society, I assume.
Okay.
As far as we know, no such Aryan homeland of Atlantis was ever found. However, these are indeed still records of sunken lands in the north which may fit the description.
So the Nazis couldn't figure it out. One step ahead of you.
5 steps ahead.
Yeah. No. Possibility is cool. They lived in the far north beyond the edge of the known world. which has since been lost or considered to have never existed. It was first described by ancient Greek writers as a mystical land of ice where the sun shone both day and night all year round. Pythias and Massilia is said to have personally dreamed the land of Thule and confirmed its existence. The idea of Thule became intertwined with speculation about the homeland in the early 20th century, especially through the work of the Thule Society in Germany. The Thule Society viewed the island as a mythical homeland of the Aryan race and mythical Atlantis, certain high-ranking Nazis located Thule near Iceland and believed that it was the homeland of the Nordic peoples.
Possibility 9. Doggerland. Similarly, in Northern Europe, there was a sunken region of Doggerland. Doggerland was once a massive region in Northern Europe stretching from around Britain to Scandinavia, which was fully exposed when the sea levels were low, but which is now submerged in the North Sea. It is confirmed that humans did live in this region around 10,000 years ago, which would match well with the date of Plato's Atlantis. Interesting. Oh, God. Yeah, it's so much more than I ever thought. I wonder what the audience thinks about it. It's like,
Your objective is
stop,
eliminate all mountains.
Not me killed them. Stop the cook, hold me cook through. Me cooks out. Me cooks out. Me let me cook for. What do they play? The bagpipes?
Yeah. Yeah, and the Irish band music on band, what is it? Irish? No, it's an instrument. Irish.
So we're looking at map of Doggerland. Me cook now. It's lost in Doggerland. Doggerland, me cook. Doggerland, wait, what was that? Sorry. Doggerland and Doggerland.
Fire sales over. Just been frightened.
So this is real. It's really crazy. The Food Film PlayStation. And the land slowly just sinks into the water.
Wow. So this, I didn't know any of this.
And that's how mermaids happen.
I'm so dumb.
So you got owned again and again. Moon, fake, mermaids, real, Atlantis, real. I'm 3 for 3. I'm gonna get a Grammy nominee.
Rose gonna get a Grammy #1 producer of the year.
I'll be for it if I need to.
Is it possible that the same Atlanteans who almost conquered Eurasia were the ancestors of the sea peoples who brought about the Bronze Age? And that their descendants later lived north and rough the Viking Age? I saw the theory that the tribe of Dan became the Danish.
Enemy UAV is online.
Who's Dan? The tribe of Dan?
Supply crates have been restocked. Load up.
What did Dan do?
I don't think there's anybody named Dan. I think it was the tribe.
Enemy advanced UAV overhead.
Big Dan.
Big Dan.
Big dog Dan. He's like Atlas.
What did the tribe of Dan do?
I don't know. Was Atlantis real? And which of these potential locations is the actual Atlantean homeland? Is it possible all these various leads somehow do connect back to the original Atlantis? Are the Atlantean people entirely gone, or are they still among us? Might we ourselves have Atlantean roots?
Be advised, you still have squad mates
Edgar
outside the
Case's
safe zone.
Visions of the Future. Edgar Case was an American psychic and mystic who was often referred to as the sleeping prophet. He would put himself into a deep sleep-like trance where he received visions of the past and future. He gained tremendous knowledge of prehistoric civilizations, including Atlantis, and saw visions of flying ships.
Tackle,
Laying
straight
through
across the
my eyes, I
LTBO.
can see that shit too.
Yeah, it takes some acid and writing and smiling.
Remaining.
All I need to do is bust and I'll see shapes.
It's all on you. Stay alive so your squad can be destroyed.
Which made use of crystal magic. He believed that the souls of many modern people were reincarnations of lost humanity. Case's ideas, though spectacular, were not altogether rejected by society. It was taken very seriously by many people and had significant cultural influence. Case claimed that Atlantis would one day rise up from the sea, and that in the future the Atlanteans would return to themselves. What do you think?
I'm thinking that, well, I mean, for the funniness of it, I'd like to just believe Atlantis was real. But it sounds like a mythological story inspired by real places.
That's what it seems like to me, yeah. It's just like a classic myth inspired by real places. But it's possible that there was like a civilization or whatever, and they were, you know, they had a city, have like an idiot go from one place to another, and there's like, this place, like, some people go to Columbus, Ohio, and think it's awesome. You know what I mean? Like, imagine being an idiot.
Don't let up now.
Imagine going to some, like, you're just, you live in a little small town in Texas. Let's imagine you're living in a little small town in, I don't know. And then you get on a boat, you go on an island, and there's people in there have nice stuff. Just moderately nice stuff.
Like a summer bands.
Exactly. That is crazy. Yeah.
That's me right there?
Yeah. In that. No, in this.
How's that doing that? That's advanced.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, if you go like You can have like a tribe person from some uncontacted island like just come over to my house. You'd think I was like the most advanced person on earth.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all relative, right?
Just because I have an iPad.
Yes, there's all iPads on the wall. Whoa. But yeah, I think the fact that it's easy to just make shit up and lie, or not even on purpose, really. Or spin this web, this yarn, this conspiratorial yarn. It's very easy to just things lose control. You lose control of stories as they're told. And there's no internet. There's no centralization of information. There's no single source of truth for any of this stuff. It's just speculation from thousands of idiots for a long time.
Just like you and I.
Exactly.
But if it was real, I wouldn't be shocked. Also, I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I can't believe it. I'd be like, oh, wow, they found Atlantis. That's really cool. It was because the pyramids still trip me out. The pyramids have some weird stuff like the batteries and shit.
Yeah, the Baghdad battery.
I don't that trips me out.
And the shit beneath it.
Yeah, Isn't there something about a battery in a pyramid that can send something of beam of light up in the air and shit?
I don't know nothing about that.
I could literally be making that up.
You just dreaming. You went to a deep trance-like state. You made it up.
You know what I was doing before I was aware.
You went to a deep trance-like state. You had a case moment.
Yeah, total case.
Brandon Case, I've heard.
Beautiful. Make it happen, Caleb.
Thank you guys for watching this episode. What's the next topic we should cover in the next video?
Yeah, were they giving us good stuff in the comments of the last one?
They were giving us they liked it a lot.
Have people called in?
Dude, so many people have called in.
When are we doing that?
That's in the Too Late Show.
When's that?
We can record it tomorrow.
Okay, goodbye. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Had a good time. Thank you to the writer of this. Thank you to Caleb for having me.
Yeah.
We'll cover whatever you guys want. We have a lot of ideas, but we'd love to know what you guys want to see first.
I was thinking 9/11 next.
Should we tell them to call in more? Or
call in more. Numbers on the screen.
Numbers on the screen. Call in. We want to talk.
I could go.
Alright, so we're back on the couch. Back in the hot seat. How you feeling today, Caleb?
I feel pretty good. How you feeling?
Good. I didn't sleep last night. Been editing all night. I feel deranged.
You're still wearing your eye cover?
Yes.
Why?
Because we're going to the moon. I don't want to hurt my eyes. Today's a tragic day. Because our boy
died. Rest in peace.
Our boy brother. He has passed away.
Rest in peace, brother.
Only 2 days after Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy, the Prince of Darkness. Well, today's episode, this is the Too Late Show files. The last episode we talked about Injured Cold, the Smiling Man. Today we're talking about the moon landing. All right.
Was it real? Was it fake? What happened?
What, you think it's fake?
Yeah.
Yeah, you think it's fake, and I think it's real.
You're gonna have to do some serious convincing to show me that it's real.
I don't think I want to do any convincing. I think it's waste time.
Well.
Yeah.
Give it your best shot.
We'll see here. Also, people, they liked the video. They wanted to let us know that they like being a part of us learning instead of us teaching, which is good because we don't know shit. We're so insanely stupid.
Hey, Caleb promised this episode to keep his feet on the floor.
I did. I talk with my feet.
Yeah.
This I feel like dude right now. These shorts are so small.
You look exposed.
And I'm all split.
I learned a real valuable lesson about wearing shorts on this couch.
Really?
Don't do it. Unless you want your gym bone pressing against the cloth.
Your ham cloth.
So where does it all start? Where does the moon landing start? Why do we even want to go there to begin with?
Well, we can't watch videos.
We can't?
No, we can't. There's no sound. But there is there's a primer to listen to JFK sell you on the idea of the moon landing before it happened. We can watch it on my phone.
Can we please?
Yeah.
How much do you really know about the history of the moon landing? Were we talking about trying to go to the moon in the 20s and 30s?
No. I mean, there wasn't flight was still new in the 20s and 30s. So obviously there wouldn't be much of a, I mean, the German rocket tech out of World War II was extremely advanced. We had Wernher von Braun. I have no doubt that there was plans to go to the moon, if classified or not, pretty early on. I mean, rocket tech was like the rage from 1945, well, during World War II, but post 1945 with the CIA and Grumman and all those places out, Los Alamos, the paper clips. You know about the paper clips?
Operation Paperclip?
Well, the results from Operation Paperclip, all the German scientists that we stole, and then gave them immunity and stuff.
Yeah.
As long as they build us rockets to the moon. That's a moment of silence for Frank.
Oh yeah. So yeah, your dog Frankie is defecating blood and is currently in the vet.
Yeah, I wouldn't say blood, but enough to go to the doc. Enough bizarre defecation to definitely go to the doc. To definitely go check out the doc for sure. She was pooping a lot yesterday. It was kind of funny. And then today.
But it wasn't so funny?
Well, today it's not funny anymore because it's still going on. It's like funny, oh, dog pooped a bunch. That's really hilarious. And then it's like, oh, my dog feels really bad and is really sad and has like one slightly tarry stool. I'm not going to risk it. So she's in the vet right now.
Hopefully she'll be well.
Yeah, I think she's fine. She's very resilient. I knew to take her to the vet because today I offered her food and she didn't eat it. And that is not She will eat anything no matter what.
So we're going to start this video off by watching a video of JFK talking about how we need to go to the moon, I guess.
We shall send to the moon 240,000 miles away from the control station in Houston, a giant rocket more than 300 feet tall, the length of this football field, made of new metal alloys, some of which have not yet been invented, capable of standing heat and stresses, several times more than has ever been experienced, fitted together with a precision better than the finest watch, carrying all the equipment needed for propulsion, guidance, control, communications, food, and survival, on an untried mission to an unknown celestial body.
Why?
And then return it safely to Earth, re-entering the atmosphere at speeds of over 25,000 miles per hour, causing heat about half that of the temperature of the sun, almost as hot as it is here today, and do all this, and do all this, and do it right, and do it first.
So the only cause I'm getting from that speech is that you wanted to do it first.
Flexing, yeah. Flexing on the Russians.
I didn't get a strong why.
Just to flex on the Russians. Because they were also in space and stuff. So if there's a space race, we have to be the one in time for two. Yeah. So they're doing it as well. That's the reason why. You can't just let them do it and not do it as well.
Yeah.
We have to do it better. And so on. That's the American way.
That's the American spirit.
Yeah.
We have some background here.
Yeah. After World War II, the European empires that had dominated the world for at least 5 centuries had all more or less fallen. And the United States and the Soviet Union were left as the only 2 remaining global superpowers. There was a bipolar world order. A period of tension and competition between those 2 powers that lasted from 1945 to 1991 is known now as the Cold War.
That's a long war, 46 years?
Yeah, dude. Never no fighting.
Just shoot rockets into the...
Just shoot rockets. Oh, Sputnik! Oh! Okay, oh! Space potato!
Is that what the Cold War is all about?
Yeah, it's just competition between communism and capitalism. And then Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote Gulag Archipelago and unraveled the whole thing.
Oh, I get it now.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's really interesting now. The Cold War is really interesting. What do you know about World War II? What do you know about the past?
I know a little bit about World War II.
Smile sheepishly.
It was a rough time. People were upset.
People died.
You know what I mean?
People died.
A lot of people lost. Some people got nuked. Some people ended up with the country afterwards. Yeah. And there's a lot of big losers in that war.
You saying some people got nuked will cause people in the comments to say, actually they were atomic bombs, but they were nuclear.
Hey, I've been to Russia, okay?
Yeah,
I've been there.
What'd you do?
I got drunk.
Oh, that's cool.
Played some karaoke with some guy who tried to grope my girlfriend at the time.
I remember that.
I have it on camera, yeah.
That's great.
Unreleased.
Listen, you want to read this one?
Cold War. The Cold War was defined by the USA and USSR trying to outcompete and outdo each other in terms of spreading their ideology abroad, in terms of forming alliances and supporting proxy wars, and in terms of increasing their own military power. The competitive expansion of military power and nuclear capabilities between the 2 countries, referred to as the arms race, set the stage for the subsequent rivalry known as the space race.
That's true. It was a space race.
Space race.
The Cold War begat. The Cold War begat the space race. Begat, and so on.
I just don't get it.
You don't get the Cold War?
I don't get the space race.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, you have words in this. We should fix them.
Are they going to be able to hear that in this
Probably.
podcast? No! Shut the door!
To me, this all seems like a bunch of crap.
Why? Why does it seem like crap to you?
I mean, was America like killing it? Was there still like rampant homelessness and people like impoverished and like struggling to have health insurance back then? Or was this stuff really good?
I mean, there was like people didn't have rights, so I feel like that's pretty bad. But yeah, I don't know. There's no way to really tell this year.
Yeah.
No.
I'm anti-space.
Yeah, you seem like you're anti-space. What I would also like to know a lot of the metrics and stuff that they recorded in time. We already know how common propaganda is. Imagine how easy it would be for a city in like 1948 to just be like, no, we don't have any homeless. How would they ever know? There's no Twitter. There's no CCTV. Like, it seems like bullshit. All of it seems like just total horseshit, lies, nonsense.
Yeah, there's no technical with the camera poking around.
Exactly. But I do believe in the moon landing.
I'm waiting to be convinced.
I just feel like there's no way that old guy would be punching people unless it was real. Space race. The space race kicked off on October 4th, 1957, when the Soviet Union launched Sputnik 1. It was the first man-made object ever launched into Earth's orbit. Sputnik demonstrated the USSR But China.
So, alright, so even let's say if India did it and China did it, they did it like 70 years after us. How are we that ahead?
Yeah, which makes sense, right?
I don't know, I'm so nationalist. Here, the next slide is space. Is it possible if they take the entire campus, the whole color of missions in inner space from nefarious purposes?
Oh my
Do you know the American government has been willing to refuse to take the nation's population time and time again?
True.
In 1969, could we really throw 3 men in a tin can through the sky so far that hit the moon and come back? All the just technology that is modern and an untested aircraft?
Yeah, I'm not fired. I have a feeling that this document is written by someone who does not believe the moon landing was real.
Well, it's about the conspiracy about how it's fake. It's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not about, the document isn't about how it's real. It's about how it could be fake.
Right. Possibly. Possibly. But you think it's completely fake, though?
Yes.
So it's a document.
Mama's yes in there for some reason.
Try to beat me here. Let's see.
The evidence that it's fake. No further. Moon is made of dust. So when the lunar module comes out, it's still the module is the same thing as the rockets that are for a regular planet. Also, it is going across the moon and crash Earth on purpose. For the television rescue.
But there is no such thing as photographs. Yes, there is.
I don't know.
Yes, everything.
I don't know.
That's not fabrication. That's real life. I'm looking at the photo.
What is the, let's see what the NASA's rebuttal to the crater argument is that as the module came down at light gravity, the force of the thrust was so low that it was able to land relatively softly without losing weight. But they did crash the moon at the
So did it resonate or did they land softly?
It resonate. Maybe NASA 11 didn't. I can't remember. I think it was 12 or 13 for the missions that crashed the moon.
Someone doesn't have their story straight.
You guys so
However, the moon was supposed to be so bright that there was actually a concern before the mission that the module would sink into the surface when it landed.
Interesting. There was a real concern. We don't, how does moon dust behave when it's under light gravity? So shouldn't there be at least some trace of dust on the peak of the moon?
Not a speck of dust on the peak. How? Even if we landed softly, wouldn't it have a little bit of dust when it landed, or did they clean it off and pulse it off before?
Well, there's no atmosphere. And the gravity is very light.
So how does the dust even stay on?
Well, I imagine, what do you mean? It's rock, it's not like...
Why is there no dust on the little splits of the thing?
I don't know. I assume that dust behaves differently in the vacuum of space.
Because Alden should have taken a video showing us before he started sopping.
Alright, I'm recording this for my Snapchat story.
On the moon, there should be only one source of light, the sun. So all the shadows you see should be parallel, going in the same direction. You know that.
Totally.
Even you know that, of course. But the shadows are undeniably going in different directions, which would suggest a secondary source of light. This suggests they lit the scene artificially, as if it was a movie set. And just look at those photos. That's not organic. I only use natural lighting when I do stuff.
Yeah.
And I know about shadows.
Yeah, you know that.
And I know about praising them. I know about living in them. I know about the shadow government.
That they are the absence of light.
Exactly.
Yes.
And those are not natural shadows.
I would agree with that. And I don't even think you could argue against lens flare, particularly. Or, sorry, lens distortion, particularly. Because it's the, not only is the base, unless it's like really rounded out.
But look at the horizon line. The horizon line would need to be distorted if you were making that argument, no?
Well, it would be the base of the frame of the camera, right?
And not the horizon line?
No, because like if you have a 0.5 times zoom or whatever, the middle of the lens, the middle of the shot would be not deformed. And I assume they're using some kind of frame or whatever that has, like, you can film for half the frame or whatever. I don't know how analog cameras work. Yeah, I'm not coping either. I'm just trying to actually provide as much reality to this as possible. I don't think that can be explained with lens distortion though, but let's see. This is the exact camera that they use on the moon.
I'm not seeing the shadows.
See my legs?
Yep, I see some big, strong legs from you, but I'm not seeing the distorted shadows.
How about that? Right there, how about that?
No, I don't see them.
How about that? See my knee in the...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's
It's huge. Yeah.
We already read this. Yep. And similarly, here we have an astronaut standing in pitch black shadow, apparently with only one source of light, yet his whole body is still lit up quite clearly.
That is weird. That's just an image.
That's a photo that NASA released, a branch of our government, mind you. That looks like full office. And I'm not buying it.
Well, I mean, what if you would you think about
No, I wouldn't. No.
Because like the shadow from the sun obviously makes sense, but there's still the sun is reflecting off of the moon. That's why when you stand on like a white gravel road, it's super bright. Because it's not just the sun, it's the reflection from the.
He doesn't like you.
So then, shouldn't he have like an upward glare on his body that you can see is coming from a downward light?
I mean, to me it looks like it. I mean, his feet are darker than his like upper body. To me, it looks like that. And that sort of matches with the angle of the light from the reflection refraction. Yeah. I mean, that one's the. I think the shadow one is really odd. I would think you'd have some kind of genius or expert explain that. But this one, in my mind, that doesn't really stop.
We'll go over past that one.
Yeah, because there is objectively light coming off of the reflecting effect.
You would like that.
Okay, we have to watch 24 to 25. We have to watch this clip.
From an analytical standpoint, photographic anomalies have to be sought out with our understanding of lighting and shadows. The most straightforward.
No, you can't.
When objects are lit solely by the sun, as all the scenes on the moon are said to be.
Yeah, Jose.
Lighting equipment was not only impractical, it was unnecessary in bright sunlight. Then all shadows, regardless of the landscape,
He was.
will run parallel
I saw him.
and never intersect, as shown by this example. In these seldom seen photographs,
Motherfucker, and that is 15 minutes.
NASA archival site. It is clear that these scenes were lit.
Just saying.
You can see even better. This looks like barrel distortion. See how fat the leg is there? And that,
Webster's
like,
Dictionary.
Exact same angle. That actually being able to see that close. Real.
Good. I hope he does it
I mean,
again.
that looks very much like barrel distortion. I would say. This is like the center of the image.
The fool's
eye. It really does, though. Seriously.
What about the other ones that they flashed on screen?
Well, I mean, yeah, those aren't the ones that they're questioning. Those are the ones that they
That's funny.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I like that.
It looks the same.
Just look at that.
This is the only one. I mean, no, the one that they show is the only one that looks weird.
No, there's more.
Massive rebuttal.
That's why you're not good, because you just sit there waiting instead of
The
practicing.
camera in the uneven terrain, and that the astronauts
Tell him,
a
Alfredo.
reflection coming off the moon's lit surface, rather than an artificial light source. Bro, I am a talking piece, literally. I swear I haven't read this, and I swear I don't know these.
Oh yeah, I'm playing Forest for the 200th time. Don't worry, Alfredo, I got you. I was you're gay. Shut up. Stop complaining, you female. Take his pee-pee out of your mouth. Pee-pee out the mouth, please.
That is true. The photos I'm seeing, they do look. NASA's rebuttal looks a bit.
I would say. That's what I would say for that one. The flag. This one I feel like is bullshit though. I know the response to this, and I feel like it's total bullshit. This one seems fake to me. There is, of course, the name of the moon, so a retractable rod is built at the top of the flag that would hold it taut even in zero gravity. But when the astronauts plant the American flag, it's not just taut, it appears to wave as if in a breeze. The flag is only moving in response to the force applied to it by the astronauts. Flag flopped around for a long time. Yeah, that one does seem odd. Does it look like that's true, or does it look like the flag is actually blown into the
Yeah, they see on the moon.
Yeah. I feel like that one doesn't make any sense. You can hang up a flag here.
So you're saying this is you're skeptical?
Enemies are dropping into the area. Watch the sky.
I just don't feel like it would move like that, but also the theory is that it's also in a studio environment, when there's no chance it's going to That'll look around. That'll look
Flag wave and zero gravity. It's
Going down. I want to take a minute while I wait for you guys. Hibernates like Sleeping Beauty.
It's such a weird flag. It looks weird. That was
I also just don't get why are we playing the moon? Why are we putting the flag on the moon? Just
that's how it works. What do you mean? Who else is going to say no? That's weird.
Apparently Russia was going to say no.
So what do you think about the flag?
I mean,
do you think every act it seems like
UAV is online.
Well, you know, being an expert myself, studying for years,
enemy UAV overhead.
Space Force, their power officers. My expert opinion matters.
You have reinforcements
What's the most skeptical part of the flag? What do you think the reality is?
The flag, you know, the flag wasn't the most
out of all the evidence against so far.
UAV available for testing.
I mean, you know more about studios than you do.
Yeah.
And you know that there wouldn't just be a breeze in a studio. That just doesn't make any sense.
Enemy counter UAV inbound.
So if we had a flag, it would be moving. Something that would cause the flag to be back of chips there. You know? He's all pin out of shape since Hulk.
Thanks for the alert. Reveal the threat terminated.
The Van Allen radiation belts. How are you going to explain this one, Caleb? How are you going to explain this one?
I'm not. You want to read this?
Van Allen radiation belts. The Van Allen belts are two layers of charged particles, primarily electronic protons, which extend from about 1,000 kilometers to 36,000 kilometers above the Earth. Some claim that the radiation levels in the belts are so high that any astronaut passing through would experience lethal doses of radiation. The entire does not have sufficient shielding to completely block all the charged particles from the radiation belts. NASA claims that they were able to plan the flight path to minimize the time spent in the radiation belts, thus mitigating the damage, but many feel this explanation is unsatisfactory. And how would they get the footage back to the radiation?
That's what my thing is, yeah.
Because can't you not even, like, fly and go through the airport with, like, drone footage of my stuff?
That's the most convincing theory about that for me is the film.
And you're just like,
Maybe it back a different route. See, if you go up top, like there's just not as much. There's an ice wall in Antarctica. That's awesome.
There's just not as much up top. We went up top.
We went up top. There's a lot in there.
I don't really.
The Van Allen radiation belts. How many radiation you get sucked on?
Squad's in the safe zone.
And Van Allen radiation.
Man, I've been sucking on raccoons and...
How many radians you got?
None.
How many? Russia.
No.
Did you feel it? Did you sense the death?
Very low. I went to one of the doors.
Could you sense the tragedy?
It was a tragedy. Sad. It was sad. But you built roads from the river, so you can only show it. Number 5, no stars.
On the moon, there's literally no artificial light. Atmosphere is very thin. The scattering of light is uniform.
Enemy soldier incoming.
Oh, so you can imagine that when the moon's surface, the view of the stars is more breathtaking.
Enemy counter UAV inbound.
I mean, honestly, I think so.
Oh, why not?
Because, I mean, if you... So the cameras have to be exposed. So when you capture a night sky, you have to let the camera's lens stay open for hours. Because too much light.
So the shutter speed doesn't matter.
No, it's exposed to the camera.
Enemy UAV is online.
What's the F-stop? Yeah, we need those kinds of things.
Load that drop, head your way.
Release your settings, NASA.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this one, it's very suspicious of having a lot of information about cameras.
Enemy destroyed.
I know that
Use your tag map to hunt down the rest.
Stars, regardless, would be very difficult. Just because of how bright I assume the surface of the moon is. The astronauts clearly had polarized things in their faces, very bright. Like glass. So I assume it's insanely bright if they're on the moon. This is just my logical explanation. I don't know. What did they say? But anyways, and the contrast would be really difficult, I feel like, right?
Yeah. I mean,
Enemy counter UAV inbound.
The window behind us, they would for sure. It wouldn't mess with the lane.
And if one lit like this and we open the window, no matter how dark it is, no matter how bright something is, you would barely get to see the contrast thing. It's really highlights their skin.
This is true.
But at the same time, it is odd that you can see the stars.
However, look at the photos. There are no stars. It's all just black. And while this might seem easy, there's actually an important reason for this. If they didn't fake it. If they faked the moon landing, they would have had artists recreate the view of the stars from the moon and pose it on the images of the landing. But with all the thousands of stars that would be seen, it would be literally
10 remain. You're almost done here.
to create such an image without
We've got 10 squads active in the field.
The positioning of the various stars and constellations. And even an amateur
Your squad mate is redeployed. Well done.
Mistakes if they were using the actual footage of the supposed landing. So what did they do? They did no stars.
Hostile UAV in the area.
All you see.
What do you think? I mean, what was your explanation for that, though? Because that's very important. The point is that they wouldn't do it because of the
All squad mates are in the safe zone.
Why?
Gas is moving.
Where are the stars? During the post-flight press conference, Neil Armstrong punched a man in the face. He was actually asked about the stars and if he could see them while he was on the moon, and he said he couldn't remember.
How could it be a memorable view?
I feel like it would.
That's that radiation. Then
50 Ripken. That's not right.
It was the only time he said he couldn't remember something in all the press. We got a lot.
Possibly the most embarrassing moment of all comes when the famous astronomer and journalist Patrick Moore asks the astronauts whether they could see stars from the moon.
When you looked up in the sky, could you actually see the stars instead of the river in spite of the cloud?
But not one of them, surprisingly, remembers having seen a single star by the naked eye.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or any daylight sighting by the eye without looking through the optics.
Even Collins, who was left orbiting the moon while the other two descended on the surface, does not remember seeing a single star.
I don't remember.
Well, from the surface of the moon during the daylight, he kind of explained it.
Well, the guy that was orbiting didn't remember either.
We still have the daylight side of the moon.
He didn't remember.
That's because he's dumb. He's an American hero, dude. I just said American.
Yeah.
And then Buzz Aldrin's up there on the list, knocking people out.
Yeah,
like me. No, like you.
Like me, yeah.
Dude, you should ask him to get the room with you.
Yeah, I will pull guard and put him in the trunk. Shows his old ass out. I don't even want to do it.
Five fail is active. 5 station prices are adjusted.
Did you read this?
Later on, NASA came up with the official explanation written by Caleb Phelps that the starless in the sky was a result of their camera using fast shutter speeds.
Yo, you said fast shutter speeds.
You said that.
No, I said small frame. I was using the wrong words. I didn't say anything about aperture. But that does make sense, though, does it not?
Why didn't they remember?
That is bizarre, but from the context of the conversation, it seemed like to me they're like, oh, they like out of the moon. I don't remember seeing stars.
Resurgence window is ending. Watch your six.
But you just can't.
That makes sense.
Like, if you're standing on, I mean, that's like saying, why didn't you see the stars in daylight? Because it's so bright. That's literally what's happening.
85% true.
That's literally what's happening. Definitely more atmosphere, obviously. But same thing.
Enemy UAV is online.
What's this? What's this next point? you like AI, right?
What squad mate?
I'm not a big AI guy.
Caleb considers himself
Gas is
artificial.
closing in. Enemy advanced
AI
UAV is
moon
active.
landing footage is fake? Question mark? During the 2023 World Tour of Artificial Intelligence, the least cool tour of all time,
No one attended.
in Moscow, Russia, it was announced that AI had been used to detect some part of the photos from the Apollo 11 mission.
Fire sale done. Prices are back to normal.
Also, another thing about this is, if it were to have been faked, then Russia would have done whatever it possibly could Yeah. And I feel like that they will talk about how they're done and stuff like that. All they'd have to do is kidnap one person.
Torture until we gave out the facts.
Exactly, facts.
Why didn't they do it?
I don't know. Probably because it happened.
Oh.
That's one reason why.
Convenient. This received extremely limited funding.
Surgeon, please deactivate. Visit the end game.
Yeah, well, what if I just know?
Oh, I
You'll get another chance. Weapons free.
I just see that last
Flight rates to restock. Advise you to load up now.
That's a movie. Where did I see that? I can't remember if I saw something where
TACOM, authorize LDDR strike.
that Americans don't believe that they even landed on the moon.
Yeah.
Because they're so obvious, that it didn't happen.
Oh.
Or Russia think it's funny that still believe it. One of those. From opposite. They're diametrically opposed.
Enemy UAV overhead.
In one photo, there's a rock on the gray sea, and clearly be seen. It showed that
Squad's in the safe zone.
are commonly marked
Gas
large
is
angular
inbound.
angles so as to be quickly identified, tracked, and arranged. They must have missed it and forgot to hold up the out until after the first copies were released. NASA's explanation for this is that a human hair continued the photo later during the duplication process. Who has hair that big?
I mean, that's the bullshit.
Not even Planet has hair that big.
I mean, how big's the camera then? Could it have been a little chin cube? I mean, how big's the image? The image is like this big chin cube. Like, they're not saying that a human hair the size of an earthworm was on a rock on the moon. They're saying that the human hair was on the image that contained the photo. Just pull some hair out of your head.
Can you see this?
No, but you can see a mustache hair.
You can see this hair on my face. You ready for the letter C? On my face right now.
Yo, so funny!
I can see it now. Can you see it?
Yeah, the camera can see it.
Cat! Lie to lie. Convenience matter is just a hair.
Enemy counter UAV inbound.
A harebrained incident. That is weird.
Enemy counter UAV
It also
inbound.
doesn't look like a C.
Another squad is outside the safe zone.
Crippen since you were legit.
What?
You've been crippin' since legit.
Isn't that a slang? Florida slang?
Jit is, yeah.
Yeah.
Crippen, that's your gang member lifestyle.
Oh, I thought you said I was crippled.
You would baby crippen. Petrified wood? Question mark?
This is good. This is good.
That's all, yeah.
On October 9th, 1969, during Apollo 11, astronauts' giant leap goodwill tour to different countries around the world, former Dutch Prime Minister William Reed received a moon rock from U.S. ambassador J. William Ginsburg as a gift. It later turned out that this moon rock was only a piece of petrified wood.
And that's true.
That's bad.
What's up with that?
That's really suspicious.
What's up with that? Oh, well, to be fair, play devil's advocate, it could have just been like, the ambassador, admitted more just doing some tomfoolery.
True, or maybe Buzz Aldrin gave it to him.
You're in the top five. Bring home the win.
Yeah, and then he's like, is this
5 squads in operation.
Yeah, that's, wait. To commemorate,
Your
it says
squad is
on
down.
the,
Stay alive
sign
and bring it back.
to commemorate the visit to the Netherlands of the Apollo 11 astronauts, Neil Armstrong, Michael Collins.
Is that Buzz?
They went by Buzz because the lady made their chin Buzz.
That is really embarrassing that they're
3 squads left in the war zone. Stay alert. The enemy took that one.
In certain parts of the event. This doesn't prove that the moon themselves did not. But if they really landed on the moon, why would they need to fake any one single part of it?
True.
Or that they want a space race and home the Russian says.
Now, there is some evidence that moon landing deniers still must confront. This is my favorite evidence.
Let's hear it.
In 2009, NASA launched its Lunar Reconnaissance Orbiter. Since then, it has captured multiple images of the Apollo 11 site on the moon's surface. In 2019, India's Chandrayaan-2 also took photos of the landing site before it crashed. And these are the photos. People are going to say they're fake, they're composites, but like you can see stuff on the moon with a really good telescope, though.
It looks like a macro camera on someone's face that used to have really bad acne.
True. I think that's why even known crazy person Alex Jones released the moon. if you can look at it and see stuff, like a really intelligent, it's pretty easy to prove that it actually somebody's there.
So we get
is entitled Liberty Lawsuits and Lube, the Hank U Files. Liberty Lawsuits and Lube, the Hank U Files. So I'm going to start at the first legally relevant part, which is really the question that I asked about money. So we're going to get into that. That starts about 1 hour and 7 minutes in. So if you guys can, see this is how much irrelevant information. So literally, I skipped over 1 hour of information because I thought it wasn't legally relevant. And I've watched all of it. I watched it, the whole thing. In fact, I watched it like 1.5 times because I watched it once through with no interruptions, and then I went back to find what I thought was special and what I thought needed to be talked about. So here we go. Here's him talking about money. This is my question. Yes, the title is Liberty Lawsuits and Lube.
Were inaugurated by 30 Dr. Straight.
Alright, so, anyway.
So, yeah.
Anyway.
Alright, so, this Johnny Somali thing, we did that interview with you in December.
Yeah.
That, to be clear, and I'm for the record, for those who don't know, these guys interviewed him in December, except for it wasn't just this one guy. There were like 2 or 3 other guys on the panel. And the other guys were like laughing, they had their mouths open, they were just like, they couldn't handle it. It was too much. And that interview was way more tame than this one. This one is way more wild. Way more wild.
The whole incident where getting jumped and all that, well, that was what, like September or October of last year? It's been almost a year, right?
Correct.
So, in the past, in all this period of time, you're basically Johnny's savior. You're like his, people say you're like his sugar daddy, So it's kind of like, how much...
He even said, do you guys catch that? He said, you're kind of like his sugar daddy. And Hank says, I was, yeah. 2 important things there. He admits that he was, that's a fair description of him. And second, was, he uses past tense. So I am actually, based on the tone, I actually am led to believe that he is not financially supporting Johnny that much, or it's a different scale, or something's going on. You don't say was the way he said it. I think there's something going on right there. I think there's something going on. I'm picking up on something.
Have you personally spent thus far helping and supporting your friend? I mean, it must be a lot of money. Food, alcohol, the rent, the increased utility costs, the inconvenience of, there's all these costs that are going to happen, plus legal fees, I'm sure. Like, how much have you spent so far?
I'm not sure, but, I don't buy him alcohol. I've never bought him alcohol.
I see.
Yeah.
But would you say...
And, I'm not so, out of his, safety. I'm not from the nation where, Johnny is right now.
Doesn't everyone already assume he's living with you?
Everyone
already knows he's there.
That's what they assume, and then let them keep assuming what you think.
Okay, so let's talk about this statement. So there's a couple things here. First of all, he hasn't even spoke about the money in the total there. He says he didn't buy him alcohol. Okay, I believe it, because the alcohol's cheap in Korea. Johnny was probably getting some pennies from his supporters that could buy a $1, you can get soju for $1, under $1 in Korea. So okay, maybe Johnny bought his own soju. Okay, here's the big thing. He says that he moved out of his place. This is actually legally relevant. This is massively legally relevant. You guys know why? Yes. Who said it there? Courts. Yes. He has to inform the court. Yes. Luna Eclipse. Yeah, got that. M. Bond got it right there. You guys got it entirely. The court has to know where he lives. The court has to know where he lives. Every single trial, he gets up and he has to say his address, whatever else. And if he doesn't update it, he's in contempt of court. And you need to legally inform the court anytime you move. That's your address of record. So if he's changed his address of record, that's a problem. And he hasn't reported that. Because we haven't seen that, guys, because we know what happens in the court records, right? We know, I know. He hasn't updated that. As of today, it can change. Maybe next week he does it. Maybe after they live it, they do it, but he has to notify the court. Now, that isn't necessarily automatically public when it's filed, but he's going to have to say it in the courtroom, and that's going to come out. So if he's moved, he needs to say that. Otherwise, it's contempt of court. Right? That's a very big issue legally in Korea. You do need that. Now, he might, just say the building, or might be able to get away with the street address and not the unit, but he'd have to say something in court. You can't say nothing.
You know what? Yeah, I think I thought, because you got a nice place from what I've seen from videos, but I'm like, I don't know, that's good for two guys living together.
It's not.
And I figure like eventually you got to kick him out, put him in like a Koshiwon or something. Those tiny little. He might be in a Koshiwon then.
Might be
nearby.
So let me show you guys what a Goshiwon is, just so you know, because you guys might know Korean terminology. A Goshiwon is like a very, very small room. It's like very, very tiny. Now, many rooms in Korea are tiny, but this is a Goshiwon, right? So you see the bed is here, the desk is here, fridge there, you got a shower there. Like, this is it, guys. This is it. It's sort of like a dorm room. And you can get these for like pretty cheap, but this is probably, that would be appropriate for Ramsey. A lot of the Airbnbs are like the Goshiwon. It's not horrible. Like, once again, it's clean, like whatever, right? Yeah, people say bigger than their old dorm room. Yeah, it's enough for one person, and frankly, that's plenty, So, and there are ones that are smaller than that. There are rooms that are smaller than this, for sure. But this is not that bad, right? But this is called a Goshiwon. That's typically what a Goshiwon is. So, just so you guys know Korean terminology, I know they're, kind of kyopo, so they're throwing out like Korean terminology like it's very comfortable, but, I want you guys to be educated here. Okay, let's continue.
Might be, yes.
Isn't that kind of where he was? Well, that time he got punched by that special forces, what's his name? Dalgun or something like that?
Okay, so we talked about Dalgun for a second, but what I want to jump ahead to here is I want to jump ahead to prison. So he talks about what happens if Johnny Somali goes to prison. This is my second question, okay?
This is part of your legacy as, you're like a free speech hero, right?
Yes.
This is about liberty.
This is about liberty.
Okay. So if Johnny Somali goes to prison, what are you going to do with your life? Are you going to then spend the rest of your life trying to get him out, because it's liberty, it's free speech, or are you going to focus on something else?
Well, if Johnny Somali goes to prison, right, it's not going to be like years and years upon years. It's going to be like a few months. I'll be like, all right.
Okay, so this is a big one. This is a huge one. So essentially, you see him conceding. He would have never, 1 month ago, 2 months ago, 3 months ago. By the way, this is my question. That was my question that I gave him, which he asked perfectly, and he got him to answer it beautifully. And what I was looking for was this: he's already hoping that it's going to be a couple months, but he's admitting this. A couple months ago, he said there's no way, there's no chance, whatever. Now, he's changed his mind. Now he's like, oh, it's going to be a couple months. Well, now you're saying it's a thing now. Remember, these guys were all saying that I was just making stuff up, whatever. But even the top ally of Johnny Somali is saying it is very likely it's going to at least be a couple months. Okay, well then you're admitting a possibility. So you're no longer saying that's off the table. Okay, let's continue with this question. So he's admitted to a couple months.
All right, that part of my part is done. I'm moving to China.
So that's your one. That's your one. Okay, watch this.
Prison, right? It's not going to be like years and years upon years. It's going to be like a few months. I'll be like, all right, that part of my part is done. I'm moving to China.
There you go. So he's already planning. You can see this right now, guys. He's already planning his exit to China. You see it in the way he says it. He's like, he wants to get this side behind him, right? This is why I'm saying it's goodbye to Hank. You can see in his voice, he's like ready to go to China. He's ready to get out. And we're going to talk about the timeline. He may not. He's planning to move to China so quickly, the case might not even be over. Especially if Johnny appeals it, especially if he fights it, whatever else, especially if a new case comes in and he has to fight a separate trial. Like, Johnny may be still fighting his court case at that point. We don't know right now, or he might be serving a sentence. But the point is, he's not going to be sitting there waiting for Johnny, right? He's not going to be sitting there waiting for Johnny. We're going to talk about him going to China and all this other stuff. One thing I'll say is this: if he's accurately reporting his felony, if he's accurately reporting his felony, going to China may be pretty hard. So I don't know whether he pulled strings or he greased the wheel or if he hasn't applied yet, but it might be kind of difficult to get into a program he wants to study in China. It might be very difficult to do that with a felon. China tends not to like felonies.
Right. Now, that's what you said in December of last year, that you want to move to China.
I do.
So, how's it going now? It's been 8 months. When are you planning on actually going there? By what month, what year? Okay. So, you're really big on free speech, right?
I'm really, really big on free speech.
Is it true that you were trying to sue others for their free speech? Like, were you trying to sue Legal Mindset? Somebody told me you were trying to sue them?
For defamation, yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's not free speech.
Well, I'm not criminally charging it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter though, because defamation in Korea is both civil and criminal, right? And whether or not it's civil or criminal, in order to sue for it, you have to say that you don't believe that's free speech. If you're suing somebody for something, you're saying that's not free speech, right? because free speech is protected, including through civil lawsuits. This is why I think Hank has an incomplete understanding of what free speech is. And he doesn't understand the free speech process. He doesn't understand civil lawsuits, whether that's in Korea, America, anywhere else. If you're saying something that is protected speech, that's free speech. You can't sue for defamation in any country if it's free speech. Now, different countries define free speech differently. We've talked about this. There's a different standard for defamation in Korea than there is in the United States. Or in other countries like Thailand, where I live, or Philippines, or somewhere else, there's different standards, right? But that is a huge contradiction there, buddy. It's a massive contradiction. But he doesn't stop there. This is great. This is perfect. Watch this.
William. Money!
Wait, so you're free speech?
But if I can extract money out of him, yeah, hell yeah! But.
So you admit that legal mindset, that guy has the right to say everything he says, but you see an opportunity to try and get some money, so you're like, I need money or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, whatever, that guy's not pro free speech, so.
That guy's not pro free speech. That guy's not pro free speech. By the way, he dropped an N-bomb on live. Sorry about that, guys. That's his N-bomb. I am extremely pro free speech. Anybody who knows me or watch my channel for 2 seconds, that is insane.
Shut up. I'm about to be sad as hell.
And if he has a problem with that, is anti-free speech. That's literally silencing.
Get ready for it.
Right. So his failure to understand the core definition of what free speech is crazy. And I say all the time, people can say what they want to say on the internet. They can say on the one they control people, Hank control people. Unless he crosses the criminal line, it's fine. But why can't people say things back? Because money?
Epstein case stands as one of the most devastating examples of an institutional failure in modern American history. In my humble opinion, and a lot of other people are very mad. They've been mad for a long time. It's just, for some reason, just now becoming a big deal. I wonder why. Despite evidence of over 1,000 victims, the case has effectively been closed with minimal accountability, mainly because the lead guy doesn't exist anymore. He's rotting. So there's a lot of people who care about this right now, and a lot of people who don't. They're just shrugging it off. It's another psyop. It's a distraction to everybody, especially those people. I would ask, how could a convicted sex offender operate a trafficking network for decades while and after rubbing shoulders with some of the most powerful and influential people on the planet, and it all just gets swept under the rug? Today we're going to be trying to find out if this whole thing is calculated manipulation behind the scenes to dismantle the movement towards justice, or is it simply a baffling sequence of consistent, systematic failures at every single level of law enforcement and justice that our systems have to offer? Let us go back to the very beginning and see where the trail leads. And we'll start with an important disclaimer. I believe, as a non-biased person, that it is essential to mention something at the beginning of this video, and that is, I will mention various names. Many of them are individuals at the tippy top of their respective fields, including finance, entertainment, and believe it or not, government. We will cover many allegations and claims that have been made against said individuals, and unless charges are ever brought against any of these people, these are only allegations. Alright guys, allegations. All they are, the only people who have ever faced charges in connection to what happened at Jeffrey Epstein's private island and his home in New York and his home in Florida are himself, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Jean-Luc Bernal. 3 people, 1,000 victims. Crazy. Surprisingly, Jeffrey Epstein came from a middle-class family in Brooklyn, New York. His mother, Pauline Stolovsky Epstein, went by Paula and was a part-time school lady. His father, Seymour Epstein,
Ordinary gamers, Mulahar drama might be the funniest thing I've seen on YouTube in a while. Especially this thumbnail. It might be one of the greatest thumbnails in YouTube history. Mudahar being a liar, a fraud, that's completely fine, you know. Everyone lies at some point. Everyone's a fraud at some point. But Indian? Unacceptable. But he might also be gay. More on this later. Now, if you happen to enjoy this video, consider leaving a like and subscribe. It's completely free. It helps me out tremendously, and you're always able to unsubscribe. This entire drama started when Nicandros made a video exposing Mudahar for being a liar and not what he claims to be. So throughout Mudahar's time on YouTube, he has always called himself a computer expert or a computer engineer, and that's not what he really is. He lied about all of that. According to Nicandros, he's actually a college dropout, does not have a 9-to-5 job outside of YouTube, and is basically a big fraud.
Hey, I'm a computer engineer. I'm a computer engineer, dude. I'm a fucking computer engineer.
So he would have an engineering degree.
I went to university for computer sciences, and that's it.
Education background, asking because a lot of CS knowledge. Yeah, well, I did computer engineering when I fucking went to college. That's what I did.
Okay, so at least a computer science degree.
I thought when I got into university for a while, and I dropped out like a semester in because I was like, okay, no.
Oh, he dropped out after a semester.
I'm a dropout myself. I've never finished university. But I'm not going to dog on, like, school, you know what I mean? Still don't have a fancy fucking degree, okay?
There's no better way to say this, but Nicandros pretty much caught him in 4K, and he used his own videos and podcasts against him. You can't even say it's a misunderstanding. This is pretty bad for Mudahar because at the core of it, he's still a computer YouTuber. He does a lot of software, cybersecurity, tech videos. It's going to impact his credibility even a little bit, but at the end of it, I don't think it's going to make a big of a difference. Like, this really isn't gonna cancel Mudahar or destroy his career. Now, as you know, when someone is getting canceled or facing a lot of drama on the internet tends to look at everything they do even more carefully. Some people just turn into some crazy investigators the FBI and CIA could use. Which brings me to the next point. Mudahar might be gay. Like, if you're not familiar with Mudahar, it's just a roller coaster because one day he's being exposed for being a fraud, and the next day he's apparently gay.
Now, at the time I was in a relationship with another woman, right? And unfortunately, what happened was me and my best friend Ryan, all right? We're talking best friend. I've known Ryan for years. We were so wasted that at some point in the night, me and Ryan started fucking making out for the hell of it. Like, we're talking tongue in mouth, we made out, we got real gay with each other for like 10 seconds. And I woke up on the couch.
Man, Mudahar is so talented. He kind of does a bit of everything. He's a 9-to-5 worker, a computer engineer, a CEO, a YouTuber, and now he's apparently gay. Why is he just casually saying this to his audience? I'm just saying, if I was him, this information would die with me. Not even Batman, Superman, the Justice League, Wonder Woman's fucking lasso of truth. None of that shit is getting this information out of me. Even God is not getting it.
I know there's been some drama, and I want to kind of address things here really quickly. So obviously, I have been calling myself an engineer, in some cases a programmer, a cybersecurity engineer, whatever you can call it. And, you know, I apparently have also been a dropout, which I don't hide. Now, obviously, me being a dropout, I don't have a degree, so I'm not a certified or licensed engineer. Now, I made a lot of videos in the past where I've taught you guys about computer safety, cybersecurity, a lot of this stuff, and I think that content stands up on its own. And I believe it actually can be used, you know, and people have learned from it, and I think that's great. Now, if you feel offended, if you feel wrong that I called myself an engineer while not being a degree-holding engineer, then for that I do apologize. And I will denigrate myself to, you know, I guess programmer or a fat Indian guy that knows a bit about computers. That's what I'll do. And that's pretty much all I have to say. Now again, if you want to stick around, awesome. If you still feel wrong and this does not suffice for you, then I don't really give a fuck. Simple as that. Now again, that being said, if anything else comes out of this, you know, whether there be some legal stuff done, I'll just let lawyers handle it and we'll call it a day.
With that being said, I want
That was Munahar's response or apology video to the situation, and it's everything I expected. He apologized and said that his content is still beneficial to a lot of people because the information in those videos aren't really wrong. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about the Munahar situation. If you're not invested in it and just casually look at it, it's a pretty funny situation.
document drop was supposed to be the holy grail for conspiracy theorists and history buffs alike. Trump's executive order promised to finally unveil the complete truth about the JFK assassination. This is an executive action that would theoretically seal the book on one of America's most enduring mysteries.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years.
60-year-old puzzle solved with the stroke of a presidential pen. All right, guys? Beating you right now. Through the camera. Stop it. Lay down. Seriously. Seriously. I'll put you in the trash can. All right? Do you remember back in 2017 when Donald Trump first released some JFK files but kept some others locked away, citing nebulous national security concerns? This time was supposed to be different. This time was different. This was the full Monty. Ooh, complete with a bit of English on the tip.
Do we finally have the answers to one of history's greatest mysteries?
Everything will be revealed.
Or is declassification a deep disappointment?
This was the unvarnished truth that America had been waiting for since that fateful day in Dallas, Texas. Did his head just do that? Because if so, I'm willing to believe it, but that's crazy. Look at this bag of jerky. Instead of getting the unvarnished truth, we got the bureaucratic equivalent of a shotgun of diarrhea. Someone dumped 80,000 pages of totally unsorted papers. Imagine that. On your desk, just unsorted papers. I can't sort these! I can't sort them! Help me, Frankie! Help me! Help me! Help me! Come on! Put it on the desk, don't you? Oh, she smells like poop. And then imagine your boss, after dumping a shitload of documents on you, saying, good luck. Good luck, idiot. Good luck, dumbass. Good luck sorting through all that. The initial document dump consisted of 1,123 records, totaling about 32,000 pages. That was followed by another 1,059 records, adding another 31,400 pages to the pile. No organization, no index, no explanation of what the is going on, which agency produced which document. It really is the smartest way to do it as a very shady entity. You know, if you really need people to not be able to look through your documents, just release a lot of them. Release like all of them at once, and then just don't give them any way to organize them at all or search or anything like that. Genius! Imagine being a serious researcher trying to make sense of this chaos. Imagine running around with a love sentence in your ass. Imagine that! Unrelated to the video, but still, you can try to imagine it if you want. It's funny for me to think that some people out there are actually imagining that. It might need to be some of your reality right now. One day, you're anticipating the greatest historical revelation of your career, and the next, you're swimming through a digital ocean of white and black paper to figure out which documents you've already seen, which ones were declassified in 1992, because that's how long this shit has been going on, and which things you're reading are genuinely new pieces of information. It'd be like someone with a very big and smart head handing you a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle, and you are a small-headed donkey. Okay, guys, like me. Mentally deficient, whatever you want to say, whatever the most politically correct way to say it. And also, not to mention, in that box, that jigsaw puzzle, half the pieces are from different puzzles. Some pieces are used twice, and about 31% of them are missing. The frustration among historians is and was palpable. And immediately the news hit the circuit. They declared that there was nothing new here.
To borrow a term in politics, it was a nothing burger. There was nothing revelatory in here. There was nothing.
While other dumbasses on Twitter insisted that there were important revelations that were being overlooked, and the disorganization of the documents barely legible scans of third-generation copies were duplicates of previously released materials, but maybe they had fewer black marker redactions. Maybe there was some kind of benefit. It's a lot of smokescreen.
Who killed JFK? That question has haunted this country for more than 60 years, and polls show most Americans don't accept the official version. This new trove of documents, so far, is unlikely to change many minds.
What do you want? I mean, look at these documents. What even is this, dude? How many times has this been scanned? Who are scanning these things? Who are these people? Why don't they care more about making it more readable for us random people? What conspiracy theorists like myself hope to find versus what actually appeared in the files represent two entirely different universes. Not even two sides of the same story. Two different universes. Lots of people were expecting a smoking gun CIA memo explicitly ordering the Kennedy assassination or some kind of definitive proof of a second shooter on the grassy knoll, or perhaps evidence that aliens were somehow involved.
If the Majestic 12 documents are indeed authentic, are they proof that not only were members of the United States government aware of and in contact with extraterrestrial beings, but also that they would go to any length to keep this information hidden from the public?
Fortunately, it isn't that black and white, but it is extremely interesting, and there is a metric dig ton of crazy information. Some things are just off the wall, unbelievable, that we're going to be talking about in today's video. In regard to the CIA documents, the JFK files, the full story. All right, my friends. Translate that for me. The actual Kennedy family's reaction added another layer to the controversy. Jack Schlossberg, JFK's grandson, publicly criticized the release, pointing out that his family wasn't even given advance notice before the government started publishing thousands of pages about his grandfather's murder. Schlossberg didn't mince words and called the document dump a political prop and suggested that the truth is often sadder than the myth surrounding his grandfather's legacy. Basically insinuating that the, story that we all believe is the actual story, and that this is just a thing that people are using to get, like, political pundit points and mislead and, spread misinformation, etc. Whatever you think, Schlossberg. Okay, guys? Alright, Schlossberg, how about this? Was it aliens, though? I think it might have been aliens. And meanwhile, the Trump administration was busy patting itself on the back for this supposed act of epic transparency. Tulsi Gabbard, serving as the Director of National Intelligence, claimed that the release was all about restoring public confidence. I assume that means after rug pulling everyone because of the Epstein files. That was bullshit, by the way. That was total bullshit. You can't do that. Alright, you can't do that. I'm gonna whip out my long stick. I'm gonna touch you. Okay, guys. I hate where it hurts. What about this? Do you not like learning? What's wrong with you? You don't like prop comedy? What's wrong with you? Tulsi's statement, a curious statement, considering the decades of obfuscation that preceded this exact moment, not to mention when Trump already had one term to release all this stuff and protect national security, but now he just releases them. I don't know. But this, for the precocious and the patient, is where things get interesting. Beneath the apparent chaos of the release, patterns began to emerge for those patient enough to look and read between the lines. There was no single smoking gun. There was no single document that definitively solved the case of the JFK assassination once and for all. None of that. But the files have revealed something perhaps more disturbing. The extent to which Lee Harvey Oswald was under government surveillance before the assassination is crazy. Okay, guys, the FBI, it's like a joke now. The FBI's they've been doing this for a really, really, really long time. Documents showed that intelligence agencies were watching Oswald more closely than previously admitted, and they weren't just passively aware of his existence, they were actively monitoring his movements. They were reading his mail and tracking his interaction with Soviet and Cuban officials. So that's crazy. And that raises the uncomfortable question. If they were watching him, how the fuck did they fail to prevent him from killing the president? The sitting president of the United States. How? Furthermore, the files have illuminated the deep tensions between Kennedy and the intelligence community, which every, big-time conspiracy theorist, history buff like myself know all about that. Okay, my friend? These tensions particularly inflamed after the Bay of Pigs fiasco, which I believe we talked about on the channel before, but that's a whole rabbit hole. I'm surprised he didn't get killed earlier, to be honest, after that whole thing, Operation Northwoods, and all the other ones. Memos revealed a level of distrust and conflict that had been downplayed in official histories for decades, which that is a revelation, I would consider. There was a lot of infighting and a lot of nonsense going on, and JFK did not like Allen Dulles. He did not have a good relationship with the intelligence community, and they killed him. Like, let's be real. Or did they? I don't know. That's what this is supposed to find out. That's what we're supposed to find out here, dude. We're learning. Despite this supposedly full release, many researchers have noted that some documents remain withheld, with ongoing national security reviews cited as the justification for the continual withholding of those important documents. So it's still not full. They're still lying to us. It's still dishonest, and it's unfortunate. The promise of complete transparency is a lie. As always, when anyone in the government says that there's any kind of complete transparency, regardless of what side you're on, it's always a lie. They have their own side, we have our own side. When will we realize that? As soon as you buy this Too Late Show mug. Just kidding, don't buy it. It's just a prop. You know, they're not even for sale. They are. But go to the Gump Club though, and tune into our live show Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 9 till 10. It's been really fun. It's been really fun. It's been really wacky and really zany. So yeah, the full release asterisk. Just kidding. This leaves many people wondering what the could possibly be so sensitive about a 60-year-old assassination that it still can't see the light of day. 60 years on. I assume there's nobody in a position of power, aside from maybe Joe Biden, who is still involved in politics at this point. What is happening? 60 years. Everybody looked old in the 60s when they were in the government. They would be dead by now, unless they were little children. While the public is completely obsessing over the withheld files and redacted documents, the most disturbing revelations often hide in plain sight among the newly declassified pages. Consider this chilling, disturbing fact. Someone apparently knew about Kennedy's assassination before it happened, not days or hours or any amount of time enough to enact a real change and let anybody know, but precisely 25 minutes before the president's head exploded in Dallas, a telephone rang across the Atlantic Ocean. In Cambridge, England, a reporter received an anonymous call. The caller said, "Call the American Embassy in London for some big news. Call the American Embassy in London for some big news. Call the American Embassy. Call the American Embassy in London for some big news." And 25 minutes later, JFK's head exploded in Dealey Plaza. And honestly, that 25-minute window feels pretty calculated. Just calculated enough to make contact, but too short for there to be any kind of, real intervention. Some insider secrets, it seems like. Who's going to call? Who's going to have the number for the American? Call the embassy. Who's going to have? Maybe intelligence communities around the world. Maybe it seems like maybe they knew. Just not U.S. intelligence, but British intelligence, or some other intelligence, maybe. Maybe one of our other allies. Up to no good. So who the would make such a call, my friends? The Cookie Monster? Probably not. And what possible reason could they have, or motive, for doing this? Perhaps it was a twisted form of bragging from Lee Harvey Oswald himself. He said, or whatever, I don't know how he sounded. He looked handsome, honestly. He seemed like maybe he would put on one of those really deep voices that those TikTokers, the Gen Z TikTokers do, where they're like, hey, call the U.S. Embassy. Let's just see JFK. He'll be the head of the major government organization. Yeah, weird form of bragging, though, to be honest. Someone who couldn't resist leaving their mark on history without exposing themselves, or maybe it could have represented a last-minute crisis of conscience from someone involved, but unwilling to directly stop the plot in fear of their own life, for example. Jack Rubenstein, or whatever his name was, he got killed. Everybody got killed. Everybody's dead. Every human being involved is dead, except for the ones that are in the unredacted notes still. Potentially this Hansel style breadcrumb, a deliberate attempt intended to be discovered later as evidence that the assassination wasn't the work of a lone gunman. That's what it seems like to me. This seems like an actual smoking gun, potentially. Not a direct one, but evidence that... how would anybody else know? It's not a lone gun. Plus the call's destination, a small newspaper in Cambridge, rather than Scotland Yard or MI5, MI6, MI7, whatever, the one that James Bond works at. I don't really know or care to learn. But it seems peculiarly Pacific. for now, okay, bud? Peculiarly specific. I had a little moment there. Oh, I'm sorry. She didn't want me to hurt myself. Was the caller someone with connections to Cambridge? Did they know the particular reporter, or was this newspaper chosen precisely because it was obscure enough that a warning wouldn't trigger an immediate preventative action, thus allowing the assassination to go through? It seems genius. Obviously, it's going to be worldwide news, but you just take a little nugget and you call some hungry reporters out there making commentary videos on the side in the 60s or whatever, peace, love, all that, and you say, hey, watch the news if you want to see some guys from explode. To me, what makes this incident particularly compelling is how it stands apart from wilder conspiracy theories about the assassination. We're not talking about shape-shifting lizard people or time-traveling gunmen here. This is actual, real, documented communication investigated by intelligence professionals that suggest foreknowledge of Kennedy's death, which means it was not a lone gunman. There you go. Case closed. It wasn't a lone gunman. It wasn't. The call was real. The timing was real. The intelligence agency's concern was real. It's not speculation. It is evidence that raises legitimate questions, and in my opinion, completely proves it. Just kidding. I'm trying to really lay it on thick that I'm an idiot. And until recently, key details about the Cambridge call remained redacted, raising the question, why hide the so-called crank call unless there was more to it? Dial 411 and get rid of that caller ID. Hello, your refrigerator's running, you stupid fuck. Was there more to it? Definitely. Intelligence agencies clearly had reasons protecting sources, avoiding embarrassment, or trying to prevent conspiracy theories, but the secrecy only deepens suspicion in 99% of all cases. What's cool is our newly unredacted documents now show that both MI5 and the FBI took this crank call, whatever you want to call it, seriously enough to investigate it and preserve records, which marks a rare agreement in a case full of conflicting narratives. Just nonsense, it seems like. The assassination's chaos extended far beyond Dallas, reaching across the Atlantic to a quiet newspaper office in Cambridge, where someone received a warning that arrived just minutes too late to save a president of the world. Literally the greatest president we have ever had, and I will dial him. Now, if that British warning about Kennedy's scene theory, wait till you get a load of the FBI's handling of the Oswald murder threat. That shit enters entirely different territory. While the Cambridge call came too late to save Kennedy, another warning arrived with perfect timing to save Oswald. Yet somehow, he still ended up dead. The day before Jack Ruby shot Oswald on live television, someone called the FBI with 8 words that should have changed history as we know it. The same group that killed Kennedy will kill Oswald next. Which means that also it wasn't a lone gunman, and it obviously wasn't Harvey Oswald, and this is all written, and this is evidence. And, I don't even know what we're doing here at this point. It's all fake and lame, and there needs to be an official update to the story. So yeah, this wasn't a crank call, this was a vague tip, but a direct, actionable warning delivered to the FBI's Dallas office on November 23rd, 1960. The same group that killed Kennedy will and he still died. They still let him die. This guy wasn't just predicting a murder, even though that would be a pretty easy prediction that the guy who just killed a beloved president was going to get killed. They were linking it to JFK's assassins. They were saying, the guy who killed JFK the day before, the same group who killed him is going to be killing this fucker right soon. So yeah, there you go. What other evidence do we need? I don't know. Am I allowed to say this legally? I have no idea. With 24 hours to act, the FBI had ample time to change Oswald's transfer or increase his protection. But in spite of the chilling clarity of the threat, literally saying that the same group's going to kill the same guy, they didn't do anything. It wasn't a missed opportunity. It was a flashing red alarm. He's going to die! He's going to die! And they say, we're the ones who did it. What makes this thing, along with the call from earlier, disturbing is that they both implicitly, by their existence, destroy the lone gunman theory. It's irrelevant. The lone gunman theory is irrelevant. If the same group that killed Kennedy was planning to kill Oswald, then Oswald couldn't have acted alone. That's not what a group is. A group is more than one person. So, to play devil's advocate, you could say, well, this could just be a crazy person happening to get it right or whatever. They're gonna kill him next. I mean, it's expected. So obviously the caller could have just been lying, or they were revealing the existence of a deep, deep conspiracy that needed to silence the truth.
A conspiracy of a bloody crew from the government. All those
Even former FBI officials who have reviewed this memo have expressed profound concerns. The agency's failure to act either represents a catastrophic level of incompetence or something far more troubling. Either they did it! Potentially a deliberate decision to allow Oswald to be eliminated, I'm not sure. Either possibility is deeply unsettling for what it suggests about one of our premier law enforcement agencies, guys. All is good. All is good. The historical consequences of this failure cannot be overstated by enough terrible slop drama YouTubers. Oswald's death effectively slammed the door on any opportunity for a proper trial, and we'll never know what Oswald may have revealed about his motivations under oath, or his connections, or who might have helped him, or anything. How convenient. The bullet from Jack Ruby's gun didn't just kill the suspect, it killed our best chance at uncovering the full truth about America's most traumatic event, second most traumatic event, second to 9/11. Right? That's also a bad thing. And they also did that allegedly. No, I'm just kidding. But did they know about it? A guy with a beard who loves anime will fly an airplane somewhere in the world or something like that. Oh. Speaking of Ruby and other impressive skills, this background adds another layer to the mystery. The newly released file confirmed what many researchers have long suspected. Significant connections to organized crime, and this was not some patriotic nightclub owner overcome with emotion, as the official narrative suggested. Who the cares that much? Let's be real. Oh, I love my country! Ruby moved in circles connected to the very criminal enterprises that had their own reasons to want JFK dead. Everybody wanted JFK dead, except for me. I wasn't born yet. So. The mob connections in theory gain weight when you consider motive. Under JFK, Attorney General Robert Kennedy was aggressively targeting organized crime, and with both the president and Oswald suddenly dead, any investigation that might have led back to the mob was conveniently cut short. Amazing, incredible. Even more troubling is why key information like
Greg can't beat anything except his meat.
For 60 years, it raises the question, was secrecy protecting national security or the reputation of powerful institutions and individuals involved in it? Still active to this day? Like you. I know who you are. Big Candy. The people in Big Candy are out there involved in JFK's murder, dude. You know what Little Candy doesn't do? Kill sitting presidents. Go to Sour.gg and buy some delicious candy. We don't use artificial dyes. We don't use artificial flavors. We're vegan friendly, plant-based. I'm not even vegan friendly. The candy is. Go to Sour.gg. We have sour strips and gummies. I do make candy, and I take every single chance I possibly can get.
I'll pull up.
Use this time for some target practice. dropping into the area. Watch the skies.
This week, top Trump administration officials, including Attorney General Pam Bondi and FBI Director Tom Patel, met at the White House to discuss the police struggle in the Bay What's continuously missing is the focus on those more physically and emotionally hurt by Jeffrey Epstein and Bernie. On Thursday, House Democrats called for vehicle hearings with victims and survivors, writing, quote, "If you are told powerful people to attack, an investigation must center the voices based on consent." As survivors do not rising in the island, to continue and finish the full battery and ceremony of powerful in 1997. She spoke out Wednesday and demanding the Justice Department release the Epstein files. I believe the files should be released. I'm tired of the government saying that they actually believe so please just do it. Please get my brain back. What he did to me,
Survived to redeploy former teammates. Killed to bring them back fast.
And Alicia Arden and Gloria Aldridge join us now. Welcome, guys. Alicia, this has been an ongoing fight for accountability and transparency. Talk to us about how you feel about this very personal fight and having to in public.
Well, it continues to be a very upsetting matter, and I myself and probably the other victims, we didn't know that this would be ongoing for so long and so many years, and now I can't think and Pam Bondi keeps talking about it since February. So if there is files and why can't I see them? I know we have a right to see them. I would know what their potential wants to see that. It continues to be very upsetting for years later.
Gloria, this is Antonia here. I want to ask you, House Democrats right now are calling for congressional hearings to give survivors the opportunity to speak. We also have coming out of the House Oversight Committee a number of cases and notably Alex Acosta is missing from that list of names. That's a person that helped make the sweetheart deal for Epstein happen. I want to know two things, I guess, from you. Is first, if you believe in our lawmakers to be able to provide